Welcome back to another episode of Higher Geek.
Shut up!
Broadcasting from the incredible Hall of Justice. So we're actually surprising that they actually let a female lead. Yes, please. And what would actually go around? I see some interesting shirts again. Can we actually go around the room and start having a little description? I'll start with myself, please, and thank you. I'm actually wearing the full cast of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Ooh, ooh.
Nice, nice.
Alright, we're going to continue around the room.
Oh, I'm next?
Yes, you're next.
This is Sebastian Bonet, member of
Bonnet.
the... Yeah, you say bonnet again, one more time. You're walking home. With your own car. Sebastian Bonet from the Nerds of the Round podcast, a.k.a. Sebastian.
Alright, dope. What do you got
I
on?
am wearing Deadpool. Deadpool looking like he is on, you know that thing with the guy that shows multiple arms like that?
Da Vinci?
The Da Vinci, yeah.
Da Vinci Deadpool?
Da Vinci Deadpool.
There you go.
In red. Red tacos. And to my left,
Your favorite recluse, Storko Manhattan, your favorite Clinomaniac, just sitting here chilling. I got my Vote for Bernie shirt, but it's not your Bernie, your typical Bernie, your Bernie Sanders. It's more Weekend at Bernie's Bernie. So yeah, vote for Bernie.
Vote for the dead guy! Vote for the dead guy!
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your kid, Brooklyn Boy T, and I'm here wearing the classic black suit Superman shirt. You representing the guy, you know?
with the bad mustache job.
The bad mustache and all.
Senor Kent.
Si, senor.
Oh my god. It's your boy Mayhem Mike. You can find me, of course, at Pure Mayhem on Instagram. I represent Last Stop on the L podcast, QMAM Gaming Geeks Unlimited. Boop, boop, boop. Today I got on. Wait, before I even do that, shout out to Hash. Got Hash Evil. He can't be with us today. He's pretty much in Puerto Rico. Am I correct?
Puerto Rico Comic Con.
There you go. So go check him out there. I got on the Captain America shirt from Winter Soldier. So, you know, I'm
Say that
feeling
5
it.
times fast.
Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier.
That was slow.
I don't care, but I did it. And to my left,
Yeah, I guess. Special guest appearance by Fernando, I guess. Wearing a Bob's Big Boy shirt. For all of those who know, he made his appearance in Austin Powers.
mm-hmm.
Oh, it looks like a giant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really don't have. anything
Known for
else
their
to
good
talk.
prices.
All right, so we're gonna kind of get into this. Last episode we were talking about predictions of Avengers Endgame.
And we all lost big time.
We all lost big time. So let's go around and let's talk about how we felt about this movie.
Yep.
I think that's what everybody wants to like. How did you feel?
Some people move on, but not us.
Not us. How did we feel about this movie?
Oh, it was intense. God, yes,
Great.
intense.
It was
Intensely great.
It was like a comic book opened up and was painted on the big screen.
Was it worth 10 years of movie?
It was
Oh, yeah.
worth 20 years, 30 years. It was. I think it was.
I don't know about those 30 years now,
It
but
was an excellent ending to that saga, to the first saga of the MCU.
I thought it was great. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, I'm a little bit biased for Team Captain America. That's right, I said it. Yeah, I love that Mjolnir sexy scene when he was worthy. I loved it. But
when you actually heard the collective everyone of going, sploosh!
yo, everybody in the how many times I saw it twice. So everybody in the movie theater on both times was like, yeah, we were all like pretty much jumping out of our seats, you know?
I just like to put out a disclaimer for those of you that are listening to this episode. This is spoiler.
I'm gonna put it in the description.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Listen,
Just
how
letting
many-
you know.
Wait. How many weeks has this movie been out already?
Trey.
Like 4?
Yeah,
The
so
whole
we're
month?
we're
The whole
past the
month?
whole spoil. If
So
you
we're done.
haven't seen the movie already,
But you'd be
some chance
surprised.
you've gotten spoiled.
You'd be surprised. I
Okay,
haven't
fair
seen it
enough.
yet.
Listen,
You know,
Let
so
them go cry angrily on Reddit or something. I don't care at this point.
go out and watch it quick. Snap.
Okay, so
I didn't hear Fernando. Fernando, how do you feel?
I thought it was alright.
I thought it was alright.
I saw this movie 10 days before it came out.
So did I.
I saw it through the Saudi Arabia stream, and I was just scrolling through it. I'm like, nah, not interesting, don't care. I basically saw a 3-hour movie in 30 minutes.
As a matter of fact, I think I saw that when you put it in a group chat, and I must say, everybody, I apologize because I woke up in the middle of the night. I told Mike, I woke up in the middle of the night, I saw that, and I was like, I'm going to put that on mute. And I didn't put it back on again until...
I think I did the same thing.
No, but he did put it on to like a couple of days ago. We were trying to schedule this.
The worst for me is this, though.
What?
I was at AwesomeCon that weekend, so I'm at a convention.
Oh.
And people are seeing the movie during the convention and all that. But what I gotta give a shout out is that none of the fans spoiled it. Because you literally have people come up to the table like, you saw Endgame yet? No? Oh, okay. It's like, but you gotta see it, though. No spoilers.
Nice.
Awesome.
Now, what you learn from that is that Marvel fans, we don't spoil shit. Game of Thrones fans, the first minute that the show comes on, oh my god, did you see what happened here? Oh my god.
Well, you're comparing TV to a movie.
It doesn't matter.
TV is more immediate. Everyone has more access to TV than...
Come on, we give each other a week. We give each other a week. A week.
I guess.
A week.
At least 2 days. At least 2 days.
2 days. Yeah,
At
for
least
sure,
2
give it
days.
2 days.
Yeah, at least 2 days.
I personally feel it's my social media page. If you don't want to hear about Game of Thrones spoilers, not that I do it, don't be on my Instagram. Mute me. You can mute me on Facebook.
think
There's
I
an
have.
option. See, you bastard, on Instagram too. So whatever.
I'm spoiling Game of Thrones on Sunday. I'll tell you that much.
Ah,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy.
Team Captain America. Anyway, so what about you? How did you feel?
I mean, it was actually good for what it was. I mean, yeah, try to go and tie everything in together, but still, why the plot holes? Always the plot holes.
Thank you.
I feel like they left that open for us to kind of like investigate, try to explain, but obviously propel us toward future movies, which may explain the plot holes. Because honestly, continuity wise, they've been pretty good.
Yes.
I can't front; they've been pretty good. But go ahead.
But what plot holes are you referencing?
I mean, everybody pretty much got a little flashback thing. Try to go and do a little flashback to the past, flash to the future, but nearly everyone had one of those montages. What's going on with Hulk? How did he get that way?
No, it was
They
explained.
Yeah.
It was explained.
Kind of explained, but not fully like how everybody else's was.
Oh,
Well,
wait,
it's... Can I
Yeah.
tap in?
yeah.
Well, this is the thing. Hulk's trilogy takes place in Ragnarok, Infinity War, and it also takes place in Endgame. There were already screenshots that we were going to get Professor Hulk because of the Toy Lines toys messed it up.
Yeah.
But Banner explains it. He's like, if you remember,
He spends
Infinity
18
War,
months in the Gamma Lab. That's what he
Yeah.
said.
He spent, because remember, it's a 5-year gap from the events of Infinity War. So building off of that, he spent that time to like, you know what? Instead of me fighting with the Hulk, I'm not.
They got their asses beat. Banner and the big guy.
Yeah, so now they're like united. That's what that whole 5 year.
He put the brain and the brawn together. You see what he's
And he's
coming.
dabbing.
And he's
He's dabbing.
dabbing. He's dabbing and taking pictures
But
with
that
the
was
little
hilarious.
people.
Wait, but you can't tell me this, that it was not hilarious when we saw him see his past self, and then he's trying to reenact that. He's like,
I think it was dope because I hate you guys. When it comes to the Hulk, right, Professor Hulk, I enjoy Professor Hulk. He gave me one of my best scenes I've been asking for a long time. Remember, I talked about in the comics, the Hulk held up a whole mountain and protected the Avengers. He did the facility, the Avengers facility instead. All right, cool. He's not, he's not fleshed out, so they couldn't really do nothing with him. You know what I'm saying?
Because of the movie rights.
Because of the movie, exactly. Because of the movie, so it's like, all right, cool. They kind of like skipped over that. I'm looking forward, hopefully, if they acquire the rights for a better, what's the word? A better continuity with him and a better character development. The reason being is because Edward Norton was dope. Edward as the Hulk was dope. I think he was better. If you ask me, he was better than Mark.
He was the first Terrence Howard.
Okay, but he was better to me as the Hulk than Mark.
I think they
But
both.
I feel like they didn't give Mark room to grow either. I'm going to say that.
I read somewhere they wanted to go with Mark, but I think it was whoever was doing No, it wasn't Marvel. Was it Marvel? Well,
Universal.
they wanted to go with Mark, but they thought he wasn't too famous enough then, so they went with Edward Norton.
Okay. Still gave a great performance, so it's not like they lost out per se.
I think both Edward and Mark did great jobs for the Hulk. The one who didn't do a great job was Eric Bana.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Okay.
His Hulk was just, we don't talk about that.
Agreed.
Whack.
But no, it's like they said that their way around the whole movie rights was that, you know, we want to give Hulk his trilogy.
Right.
So we got World War Hulk in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
We had the whole split personality issue with like Banner versus Hulk in Infinity War, and then now we have Professor Hulk. So it's like, what's the next version of Hulk we're gonna get in the next phase? Because he's still around.
You hear that, Disney? You might want to, go get Universal and buy their rights and shit.
I think Universal has to release a movie, and it may automatically end
It's
up
gonna go
reverting to
back
Marvel.
in 10 years.
I feel like they're
It doesn't
too
happen.
lazy to do anything with the property. That it just seems like they're holding on to it for whatever reason.
If they're
Just like
smart.
Sony. Sony's holding on to Spider-Man because they know Spider-Man sells, but they just don't know what to do with it.
If they're smart, they should just let Marvel help them do it. Like
I mean, they
Sony
still
did
make
Spider-Man.
money off of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if they, it's a partnership. What
See,
wanna
I
know
don't.
is-
I mean, that's another reason why I don't see why Universal isn't, playing the ball game. I mean, if it helps make them money,
Yeah,
why not do the whole concept with like the way they're doing with Spider-Man? Why can't they do the same thing with the
I
Hulk?
think after 22 movies, I think people are talking right now.
Yeah,
So I
I
wouldn't
think
be
it's
surprised.
Having low key conversations and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Universal's they're not pressed for it. How many movies have we known have gone to Universal Pictures? You know what I'm saying? Universal Studios, and it's like Universal's not necessarily pressed. I think if anything, they're waiting for a good buyout. I could be totally wrong. I'm willing to accept that, but I think they're waiting for a good buyout. Like, how much is the Hulk worth to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
You got the money.
They've already used them 3 times. They
Mhm.
already show like, listen, we could use the Hulk anytime we want to.
Right.
The with the loophole that they have.
Right.
So it's not like they have to go there and approach them with the cash. They could do anything they want.
That's probably the reason for the loophole, so they can fill in the little gaps when
Yeah.
they make future movies.
And I think they have the same loophole with Submariner, which they're talking about that they're gonna bring him Namor in.
Yeah.
Right, because
Mhm.
the thing with the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
I had a feeling about that too.
It
that
was
came to me as well because
Tamara
I read
Yeah.
somewhere that Namor might be introduced in Black Panther 2.
Yep.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope. And
Because-
they have a great rivalry too in the comics.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes. That would be dope. But then that might lead to Secret Wars too.
Well, I think
I mean Secret Wars because okay.
I think
There's-
the
that's too
platform,
much. The
the beginning of Phase
Okay,
4 will be
okay,
the foundation
fine.
of
Shut me
what
down,
eventually
you.
will be Secret Wars. I mean, the Russo brothers already taken a break.
Yeah.
They've been through crazy hell and back, just to do these 2 movies back to back. And they even said it themselves, if they were to do Secret Wars, they'll come back for that.
Also, too, I think we're gonna get because we talked a lot about it on Nerds.
Mhm.
We are gonna get a lot with the multiverse because they've already confirmed that in
Yes.
Spider-Man. We got hints of that in an Endgame because there's a version of Loki now that's out there in the multiverse because we see him leave with the time
Yes.
stone.
Mhm.
Yes.
There's a version of
No, with the
Tesseract, which is
the Space Stone.
Yeah, the Space Stone. There's a version of Gamora now because Gamora's dead in the mainstream MCU universe, but they did bring her back from the past, so now Gamora now is alive, but it's her past version. That's why again,
She doesn't know Peter.
Yeah, Peter probably wants to go look for her, and Thor's joining the
Well,
Guardians.
that's the thing.
The
I wanna touch
Asgardians
upon
of the
real
Galaxy.
quickly. Did she go back to her timeline?
No, she didn't.
But where did they show her at? Because I don't remember seeing
If
her.
I don't remember seeing her
If
or
you
the...
saw Peter Quill.
He was looking for her.
looking for her.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing because again, the last time we saw her on the battlefield, it was either when she kicked Peter in the nuts or when they had the whole female Avengers.
The whole female Avengers
It
shot was the last
after-
one.
It was after the snap.
Yeah.
She was in the background after the snap and she pieced out after
Yeah.
that.
So okay.
Right.
So that's good.
So my whole thing is how do we know she didn't go back to the timeline? I know they left it ambiguous.
She can't.
She can't because the only person that went back in time was Captain America. She would need to get her hand on those.
How do
pin
we know
par-
that for
She
sure?
would need to get her hands on those pin particles in a suit.
Which
Well,
which they were able to
which
do,
they
is being
would
that
do.
everyone came back.
But
but
she's again, and going back to
Mhm.
that scene with Peter
Mhm.
on the ship, looking at the picture of Gamora. she's in that universe.
Because he's looking at the pic, but if you look at it backwards, it says searching,
Right.
which
And it didn't find her.
which to me says that he knows that that's not his Gamora, which means at some point gives me the impression that she went back.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But how?
How?
Okay, so here's how I feel. So right after the battle, right? They don't say a time that's specified of what happened. So we don't know if it's right after. We don't know if it's a couple of days after. We don't know if it's a week after. It's not that long because obviously he meets Peter meets his friend whose name I can't remember. Ned. You know what I'm saying? That, like everything's okay, right? But at the same time, they didn't have that many Pym particles to go back until Captain America grabbed it, right? In the past,
But
he grabbed it from what's his face? Oh, Jesus!
But that's the past.
Right.
But
so,
now
that's what I'm saying.
after the snap, they brought everyone back.
Right.
Hank Pym is now in the picture,
So
which
now
means he can do more
Right.
Pym particles to send
He
whoever
might have
back.
some, but we don't know.
But
You know,
they're
so
not
that's
gonna-
what I'm just saying. How you know they didn't go back?
But what I'm saying is that she she left. She left. In order for her to go back in time, she would have to be with one of the other Avengers.
They didn't show that though,
But they're not gonna, because this is you have to understand this is that
because this is theory right
she's
now.
still kind of signed on to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Right.
She's coming back to do that. They had to do something to write Gamora back in because remember when they said that anybody that died before the snap
Mhm.
was dead.
Mm-hmm.
So what way? How do you bring Gamora back into the timeline?
How-
You bring past Gamora because remember we just said
Mhm.
that there's a timeline since they're playing with alternate universes that Thanos doesn't exist
Mhm.
now. So
Well, he existed, but he died
Yeah.
technically.
Yeah.
But now we're going to now in Guardians 3, it's probably going to be them searching for Gamora, or they're going to run into her, because again, she is now back in the mainstream Marvel universe.
This raises so many questions for me because how did she get off of Earth? You know what I'm saying? There's not that many spaceships for her to commandeer like that. Although
Well, you also have Strange who could teleport her.
right, but then they have to explain
That was something else. Okay, but keep
Also,
talking. But
also,
yeah,
wait,
yeah.
The Ravagers were in that battle scene,
yeah.
so she could have left for the planet with the Ravagers.
If I'm not mistaken, they destroyed most of the ships.
no,
Remember with the when they fired? I get what you're saying. They should have left one of the ships, but I felt like after the attack before
no, the Ravagers.
Ms. Marvel came on the scene.
character. No, not Thanos' ships.
Yeah.
The Ravagers who Peter
From
Quill
Guardians
used to
of the
be
Galaxy.
with. Remember
His
them?
group.
His group was there too.
I still feel like they destroyed the ships. All right, that's just something they got to explain. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
And it's also, remember, they just wrote Loki back in.
Right.
But now we can now have the Loki show. Because, again, they were like, oh, we're going to have a show with Loki. And everybody was like, how? He's dead.
When is Guardians of the Galaxy 3
I think they're going to
start?
start filming soon.
Soon?
2021.
Is Zoe done with Avatar?
Yes.
Is she done with? She's like doing
Yeah.
on Avatar, not like 2,
Yeah.
like 2 of the movies or 3.
I think it was 2 that actually we've done so far. But
And
they
she taking
haven't-
a break?
Yeah.
Okay, so then they can write her in. All right, I guess we can talk about the loopholes because we keep coming back to that. One of the loopholes that I was very uncomfortable with and I didn't like was how did Nebula kill herself and not
Yes!
disappear?
Yes.
I don't care.
Again,
Uh-huh.
can I go over this theory? I mean, I hate to cut you
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, good.
Again, we have the linear timeline, which
Mm-hmm.
is the current stuff that's happening with this timeline with the Avengers.
Mhm.
Remember, they created an alternate reality, so this is an alternate version of Nebula, not the true past Nebula. So even though, they went back into the past, they already have changed the timeline and started creating alternate universes because think about it.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
Thanos
with
first
Thanos.
came, into the
Because-
future, it was automatically a different timeline.
So
That's
this
fine.
wasn't the Nebula that's already established in the MCU. This is an alternate version of her. That's why she didn't dissipate.
I feel like that's an easy way out. Honestly, I get what you're coming from, but I'm still uncomfortable with that because it's still a past Nebula, and it has to have some effect. Now, obviously, since Thanos came into the future, and he sent his team and everybody else after them. Fine, things have changed for sure. Sorry, T. I just realized my hands were like this on your face, but it's just like it doesn't necessarily follow the rules either.
But-
Because
Well,
then remember they had to
but-
put back the stones exactly at the time that it was supposed to be there
But
to not
let's see,
alter.
Joe,
Yeah,
in this.
Right. So we're missing there's certain key parts in the movie that was put there specifically to explain this.
Mhm.
When they went to go get the time stone from the from 2012 from
The ancient one.
Yeah, from the ancient one, she explains certain things. The time stones have to be brought back.
Exactly.
They just have to be back in this area where you took them from
at the exact time.
At the exact same time. However, when Hulk and Iron Man were talking, and they were talking about the rules of time travel, they set it up. Whatever we do does not change our past. When we go back to the past, that past is now our future, and our future is now our past.
I do remember that.
So, and then they brought in, they masterfully brought in Back to the Future, Terminator, and all those other things.
Yeah.
With the butterfly effect, none of that stuff matters because it's a linear timeline. Now, if she was to kill herself, that's now the what is it called? The grandfather timeline.
So,
if you
Schroeder's cat, like thing.
Yeah, like if you kill your grandfather, now you cease to exist.
Right.
Yeah.
But that they set that up to say that doesn't matter anymore. Because if they would have, if that was the case, when they killed Thanos in 2014, the world should have just snapped and went right back to normal.
And they all would have phased out.
And they all would have phased out.
That's what I was thinking, and I feel like there's a loophole, and I'm still kind of about
this.
But I understand what you guys.
I'm gonna give you the best loophole that was gonna work best for you. Marvel series What If, which is actually going to be either a live series or animated series. What If was always about alternate realities for the Marvel
different
universe.
universes.
So again, this is not the past Nebula, her past, her true past. This is an alternate version because also to think about it, for that to be her past self, they probably would have had to return all those people back into that point in time and then mind wipe them.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Fair enough. I will accept that now.
And just like I think we're all familiar with Flash. Just like Flashpoint, when Flash goes back in time, he changes something. He creates an alternate timeline. That timeline is just called Flashpoint. So we could call Endgame when he went back. We could call it Flashpoint for all we want. You know what I mean? Because it's
Avengers
alternate
game.
time. Yeah. Like, just like what Dorco said earlier. Yeah, like we all talk about Flash screwing the timeline and stuff like that, but the Avengers did almost the same thing.
Now I'm gonna give you an interesting theory with Rogers because I don't want to keep cutting people off. Because with Rogers, because I know a lot of people are probably like, well, what about Steve Rogers?
Oh.
Again, you have the timeline, you have the alternate realities, and then you have the linear timeline. Steve already existed in the linear timeline. He already knew where to meet them at when he went back into the past. Which also brings that theory, because remember when Hank Pym said he left S.H.I.E.L.D. because he didn't trust them? Mm-hmm. It's because Steve Rogers was the one that stole the vials. It wasn't S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
Because remember, he stole 4 vials, so it's like he would have had to return those. So that kind of affected that. So that, again, that also showed that they were dealing with a linear timeline.
Right.
So some of those events, it's pretty funny how they did it. It's like a whole time heist.
So, just to kind of go back to Steve, I mean, I knew it was a multiverse. I was arguing with T after the movie about it for a little bit. I knew it was a multiverse. I just want to say the writers went and confirmed that Peggy's husband was always Steve Rogers. And I really felt like it's kind of like they did with Spider-Man. They just said, it goes well, it makes sense, we're going to go ahead and confirm this theory.
I like Fernando's confused look on his face.
Right.
Wait a minute. So if that's the case, then when he starts making out with Peg,
he didn't know. He didn't know.
But yes,
just like Daenerys and Jon. They
didn't know.
Hey, Auntie.
And John stopped them a bunch of times, like, this is not right. But yeah, pretty much when he kissed her, yeah. But more so.
But wait, wasn't she Aunt Peggy?
Yes,
she wasn't the granddaughter, wasn't she?
No. That was her aunt.
Somehow blood related somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
Well, not to him though. That's her. That's her aunt.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But still,
we got a family incest thing going on.
So I hate
Captain Alabama.
Alabama.
Has that officially been confirmed?
The
writers confirmed that they confirmed he met Red Skull, and they confirmed that.
So that must have been interesting. Let's focus on that real quick. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine being Red Skull? Skull? Can't he?
So Red Skull has been
meme,
here,
right? That's
has been here for years and years and years.
Says the same thing that Thor says in Ragnarok. He's like, Steve, son of a
bitch.
You're still alive.
Like he's here and he finally gets off the hook. Okay, I can finally go die in peace or float off to another world.
Whatever.
And then as soon as he's getting ready to leave, here comes fucking Steve Rogers again.
With this
stone saying, hey, now you got to stay here a little bit longer, and leaves the stone for him.
Well,
He's like, it's not enough that you killed me.
Not only did you kill me, but you're
Did they
trapping
ever
me.
say that he was done doing what he did after the Soul Stone was taken?
No, what they said was this. What they confirmed was that they did have a meeting. Obviously, it's going to be a different version of Red Skull because he's no longer human anymore.
Right.
He was put there by the Celestials now as a guardian of the stone, so he's not going to dissipate. He's going to stay there. He's like stuck there all eternity. That's why it's like he's just very monotone. He's beyond human now.
Yeah.
That's why he has this knowledge and everything. Like, oh, son of this, daughter of that. Oh, bringer of tacos. But
But I think that would make a great scene for us to show, because even though he's beyond human in a sense, he still has to feel some kind of emotion. And I still want to see him snarl at Steve.
Actually, I think the one who would feel the most emotion would be Steve.
Yeah.
Not even the rest, because he's this entity now.
Yeah.
You think
Fair
Steve
enough.
would have hit him?
I think Steve. Oh yeah, I think he probably would have tried. Like, this motherfucker still alive?
I think he'd been geared up to hit him. I don't think he would have hit him. I
That's
think
the reason why I'm here. Think about it. Like, that is the reason why he is here in the first place.
yes, I agree.
Because if it wasn't for Red Skull, he would have had his happy ending. He would have been with Peggy. So I think all of that kind of boiled up on him. It could have been at that
There
point.
must have been a moment.
It could have been at that point where he decided, I'm not going back.
Mm.
Who knows? Who knows when he? I mean, but then again, he did talk to him, and Bucky had that.
Yeah, Bucky already knew.
Yeah, Bucky already
Bucky
knew.
knew.
Yeah, Bucky knew.
Okay.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, no, it's just crazy that these key points we missed in the first part. I guess we were so hyped, but then it's just like, oh, this makes sense. I still feel like Captain America definitely changed the timeline. Like there's like 4 different timelines at this point. In the
Well,
movie.
I think they all changed the timeline.
Right,
Because,
they-
again, the whole
Right.
heist when they went to go get the Tesseract, that got messed up.
Right.
And now the Tesseract's out, and again, we get
like I
Loki.
said, so many timelines.
Agreed.
But I didn't think for once that Peggy's husband was Cap. Not at once.
I don't think
so at all.
I did.
I don't think so at all. I think they just made it into a thing now and then it's like,
Well, I think it's also, too, because everybody expected Cap to die. I think it was a nice send-off for him that he got to live his life.
crazy thing is he had to relive. He got to live his life and everything, but all those things happened, and he was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna dye my hair and change my face. Not my problem.
And can we give it up that they said that old Captain America looks like Joe Biden?
Oh,
He does.
He kind of does. Though. Like, he kinda-
So that makes Falcon Obama? Really?
So,
See,
out
Captain
of,
America.
out of curiosity, sorry, I'm going to go ahead.
All right, okay, before we actually go on to another topic, can we actually mention, do we actually have a leader, a new leader,
Yes,
that
we
actually
do.
Thor, after he stepped down from actually being the actual leader of Asgard, who did he actually go and tap?
Valkyrie.
To Valkyrie.
Yes, Queen.
Yes, Queen. Yes.
Shout out to Tessa.
Yeah.
She's out here collecting these buku bucks. I definitely want to see the new MIB trailer. I definitely want to see the movie. Sorry, not the trailer. From the trailer, but she was named Queen.
That's dope.
That's dope.
She
Is
got
she
named
worthy?
Queen by
Familiar?
by Big Lebowski Thor.
Now that was
I
the
think
thing
it's
that,
interesting.
and that was the thing that actually was interesting, and I think it is because I'm like it really actually goes into shows the point of how Thor really actually goes and handles PTSD in an interesting
Yeah,
way.
he handled, like, a lot of people were upset about, like,
No, but it
Thor.
actually but I'm like I'm actually happy that they
Yeah.
actually went the way that they did because
It's interesting because like Thor is a many layered character in the comics, but up until like he becomes old King Thor or King Thor, if you will, he's like brash. You know, he was stubborn. He was arrogant. Okay, fine. He goes through that phase. He's a little bit more mature, but he's still like battle hardened. It's not until he becomes King Thor that he's like more mature. You know, more mature than Odin, if you will.
And-
so I like the route that they're going with him. Okay.
and then the moment that he sees mommy.
That was awesome.
I think it was a great
And that's
moment for
dope
him.
how she played it.
Yep.
That's dope. She's like, you know, I grew up with witches. I know what's going down, bro. Like, I got this.
You see, it's like a lot of people got upset with Thor. Right? I love the route they went with him. It's like, first of all, this character lost his father,
Mm-hmm.
lost his mother,
Mm-hmm.
lost his home,
More than
lost his girlfriend,
more than Christian Bale in
Oh,
Dark
yeah,
Knight Rises.
he lost his hammer.
lost his hammer,
Brother.
he lost his sister
Blinky.
that he didn't know he had. He lost his brother. So I mean, and then
Best friend.
he lost to Thor. He lost to Thanos.
Mhm.
Half his plan.
And then when he killed Thanos, there was nothing he could do. So it was an empty victory. So
Right.
he lost his victory. So this guy went on a downward spiral.
Oh, I have a question. How did Steve return the stone? I forgot which stone was taken from Jane.
From
Oh, the
Thor's-
Aether.
The ether.
The reality stone. Was that the reality stone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
injected her again.
Ha! Injected her.
I don't know. It's-
Loophole number 2.
We'll
that
get an
is
animated
definitely a
series
loophole.
about that. Yeah,
That one is a
we'll get an
Right.
animated series about that. There's probably instructions that he was given to insert each one, where they had to be at.
I got a good one.
Insert it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So when Steve Rogers goes, "Hail Hydra," and when that Steve Rogers comes into that timeline and Crossbones goes, "Hey, Hail Hydra, bro!" He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean, Hail Hydra?"
Well, keep in mind that's already an alternate timeline because that's the one that
that's still-
Loki got
that's
away.
still hilarious,
No, but
though.
that was hilarious. It was. That was a nod to the comics.
But
That
just
was
to
funny.
think, like,
That was a nod to the comics, but also a nod to Winter Soldier, that elevator scene.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I'm wondering if that would still happen in this alternate timeline, you know?
No,
But I
maybe
like
not
that Fernando
quite
brought
maybe
that
not
up,
quite
though.
like that.
I
Hail
like.
Hydra,
I like.
bro.
Yeah. Oh, for those that don't know, they're talking about the time when Captain America was, what was he? Was not
Hydra
Cosmic
agent.
Cubed? He was Cosmic Cubed, or
Yeah, they changed his past.
they changed his past. It was Cosmic Cube.
Cosmic
but,
Cube.
Red Skull had the Cosmic Cube or whatever, and changed everything and made Captain America Hydra agent. And he was out here actually changing the government. I mean, and he wasn't necessarily wrong for some of the things, but you know, fans hated that. They were
But,
like,
but, but let's
I like
let's
it. That
let's
was one of
give
my
a
best
let's give a
stories.
shout out to America's ass though.
That boo hootie.
That was a great. Okay, I have to admit that when they brought up the Bucky scene and he beat his own self by saying Bucky, that made so much sense. I'm not gonna look at Brooklyn Boy T right now, okay? Because he and a certain Dorko have been bringing that up in Mission
Bucky
Report. All right, whatever.
Is alive.
But that was
What?
Once again, continuity.
He saw his reaction. He was like, "What?"
and he beat him up. Jerks.
Took the Mind Stone and like knocked
Me
him
and
out.
T went to go see. You know, his head popped up. He was looking for me. I was looking for him when he was worthy. But anyway, go ahead, T.
No. So, now we'll go back to that. So, I guess, what do you guys think about Hawkeye's journey in this movie?
I think his journey was a little bit interesting. It was sad because
dope.
his journey intertwined with Black Widows because of their past together.
Mhm.
So again, it was another sad moment. He lost his friend. I like the fact that we got Ronin because he went all ape shit
Mhm.
with Ronin. He was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna go kill people
He was
now."
pretty
I lost my
dope.
family.
Yeah.
He was pretty dope. I
That
mean,
was dope.
I understand they made what's this movie PG-13 still?
Yeah.
It was PG-13, but if it wasn't, that'd have been dope to see him like.
There was actually a
dicing it.
lot of profanity
The
in that
language,
one.
though.
The language.
They can go away with that. Yeah, let's go get this son of a bitch. You know.
You know, calling
But they-
Scott Lang pissant. You know, thanks for the confidence, pissant.
But I think they gave Hawkeye his just due because I feel like he's a character that, for a lot of times when we have him in these big assemble movies, he gets lost in the fold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he definitely was not lost in this fold.
I love the way they started the movie with him and his family.
Oh.
Like
Oh, man.
I knew it was coming, but I was still in doubt until it happened. You know, and here it is. He's teaching, which I think is his favorite, his oldest daughter, how to like use the bow and arrow with the nice little leg bracelet he has. Go ahead,
I gotta
Yeah,
tap in
special.
because again, if you notice, throughout all the Marvel movies, they've never called him Hawkeye, but he called his daughter Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This leads into this, which a lot of people speculating that she's gonna be the future Hawkeye.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
We got an older version now of Ant-Man's daughter, who in the comics is Stature. She grows tall.
Yeah.
We had it in Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau
Mhm.
introduced in the 1990s,
Yeah.
which so now she's basically an adult here in this version of the Marvel Universe. You had the
Spectrum.
kid from Part 3 of Iron Man at the
Right.
funeral. So it's like there's a lot, and then now you have. I think they've already set up some form of the next wave of heroes to come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. They did. They did. Good.
I agree. No, just the way that the movie started. You know, it went from trailer to Hawkeye, and it was just straight in, no music, no nothing, I don't think the lights dimmed, whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
it went right into it, and it was touching. It was a touching couple of minutes, because what it did was, we all remember how Infinity War had us when the movie was over. Everybody was clutching their chest. Everybody was like, "This can't be possible."
Clutching my pearls. Son.
That's right. That's right.
I was laughing, but whatever.
Oh, you evil man. So basically, that scene was put in there to get everybody right back in that mind state, and I think that it was perfect.
No.
It was what a great way to start this movie.
No, it was. It puts you back in that moment of despair that everybody felt at the end of Avengers: Infinity War.
I just want to say really quickly for the Soul Stone, you can't return the sender and then the person comes back. So like at the moment, I mean they'll find a way around it, but nobody can return the Soul Stone and Gamora comes back.
Right.
Nobody. Or nobody can't do that for Black Widow either. It's like in order to get this to use it, you have to die and you stay dead.
They popped the tag basically.
Right, that's it. You can't return it. Yeah, but once you pop the tag,
Well, they already confirmed that Black
it's like
Widow.
underwear. You wore it once.
Nah,
That's it. It's yours.
Or even better yet, both of you guys, no refunds, no exchanges.
Right.
Before anybody asks, too, I mean, they've already confirmed. I think the Black Widow movie is actually going to be a prequel and about her time in Budapest.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, let's talk about that really quickly. And I'm all for female empowerment movies, solo female empowerment movies, even Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Like I'm half interested because I definitely want to know what the Red Room and the organization behind it put her through and where she comes from. But then it's like, where are you going to go with this? Who's going to be her nemesis? And what character development are we going to have here that should have been shown in
I was
Avengers?
thinking the same thing. Like, what is this movie going to contribute to the current Phase 4 storyline?
Right.
If it's taken in the past, and if it is a Black Widow solo movie, my guess is it's something that contributed to the events leading up to the first Avengers movie, Infinity War, and all that. But still, again, what is its contribution to Phase 4?
I don't think it's going to contribute anything to Phase 4 unless they're going to set up what the program that trained Black Widow. Because remember, in the comics too,
Right.
there's another Black Widow
Right.
that was trained in the Red Room after Natasha.
Right.
So that might be a setup to introduce that character.
Like
We
fast
don't know.
forward to where we are. in
Yeah,
Phase
you may
4?
get that, but this is also, with this movie, they already confirmed it's going to be a prequel about Natasha, and I think one of the reasons they're really doing this movie is because fans have been asking for a Black Widow movie for quite some time, and like, you know what, we're
I
gonna
think
do
the
it too.
opportunity just came and went.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yes,
if they do it right.
I think they should have done it before Captain Marvel. Black Widow definitely should have been the first female for MCU. But,
So, yeah.
I think they wanted to have Captain Marvel ready though, because Captain Marvel.
But
they
that
wanted her
makes
to be
sense
a big
though.
face.
That make that.
See, now the whole thing is out there. I'm guessing that they're actually kind of afraid because that kind of was a whole premise of Red Sparrow, where
Well, that too.
yeah. So look how Red Sparrow actually came and flew into a window and died. So I'm guessing they don't want a repeat of that.
I just thought it was a missed opportunity. Just like how I still don't think Vision should have been the first to hold Mjolnir. I think that should have been I think it would have added more epicness to
Okay.
Cap
Well,
lifting the hammer as
after
opposed to
but
Vision.
When they did
you
that
know
whole
what I mean?
thing with Mjolnir, it was more for Captain America to see that, because remember, Captain didn't trust him until he saw he held Mjolnir, and he was like, oh, okay.
Nobody
So
trusts
that was just used as a plot point for Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I want to talk
Go
about
ahead.
the Cap scene, but what were you gonna say?
Oh, sorry. I want to just go back to the Black Widow thing real quick.
Okay.
So the same issue that I have, and don't get, I'm gonna see this Black Widow movie when it comes out. I'm gonna be cheering for it, but at the same time, it's not something I really want to see, because it doesn't add any growth to the character that we already know. Like, I don't want to see her
Yes.
back then. This is the same issue that I have with Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman 84. The growth that she had in Justice League, we just get reverted back to her when she was kind of.
I got you. Yeah.
So,
That's DC.
Kind of like when they actually went and changed Wonder Woman, when they actually went and changed stations first and foremost. When they actually had the original Wonder Woman, and when it actually was set in World War II, and then when they actually went and they changed to, I think it was from CBS to ABC. And where they actually went into it, changed it to a current timeline and tried to go and put the two together. And
Wonder Woman.
Here's what I think they should do for Black Widow. I think they should introduce another Black Widow who's taking up the mantle. Maybe she's solo. Maybe she's doing
That
whatever.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That actually makes sense.
And then for some reason, maybe Hawkeye or somebody's finding out all this information that explained Natasha.
Right.
And then whatever happens in the movie, great. But then we get a teaser that Natasha comes back somehow.
That's a smack in the face to Natasha.
You
Don't
know,
call me Hawkeye. I want to be Black Widow.
but you know, like it's like a teaser. It's not necessarily a slap. It's an homage in a sense because we get to understand what Black Widows are about.
Well, I mean, if it was like a half-hour spot, or if it was like a behind-the-scenes short, something like that, or
I don't know.
A DVD add-on, great. But to have it be like a full thing,
I think it
full
would work. It depends on the information, honestly.
I think again we're gonna get the Black Widow movie that we're gonna get with Scarlett Johansson. She's casted it. We're gonna see Budapest. I feel that again they could use this movie to establish the Red Room, and then like how we always got at the end of a Marvel movie at the end credits, we see the Red Room present time training a new Black Widow, because obviously again Natasha's not coming back. They confirmed she's dead. So that's why they said the movie's a prequel. But I feel, again, this movie is just going to establish other stuff that they're going to introduce into the MCU.
And I found the premise interesting, too. It's supposed to be revolving around the whole Y2K period.
That'd be interesting. I'm still waiting to see what happens. I want
it regardless, to be honest.
So Black Widow's going to be Lucy 2.0.
I mean,
this is the one character she's played that's fit perfect for her.
Lucy 2.0.
I mean,
sir.
her. I liked her. She played an AI in the movie Her, because she's great vocally.
Yeah.
Maybe not expression wise. I know some people are up and down, but like her vocals emit emotion. Watch that movie Her, and you'll see exactly what I mean.
I feel with
Her. Her.
I
The
feel
one with Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yes.
Okay.
the Joker.
Which I think is going to be a great movie. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that she's really grown versus other characters, because I get what you said with the point with Lucy, and the same thing I have with Ghost in the Shell. I think she was totally miscast for those two roles, and also Lucy just it was going well, and then it started to fall really flat. I didn't like the ending of Lucy. I know it was a horrible movie at the end.
Oh, it didn't remind you of Powder?
Oh god.
When okay. All right. Sorry.
But
for those that
I
don't
think
know, go ahead. Waste your case like an hour and a half. Little Powder.
I think she's kind of grown into the character of Black Widow because she had something to prove. Because when she was first casted to be Black Widow, fans were giving her shit for it.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why.
Even the director,
Yeah.
the director that he was that wasn't her first choice. Happy Hogan, can't remember.
But she knocked it out the park though, and she came back.
I want to talk about the scene in Age of Ultron where Cap attempts to pick up Mjolnir, and I first thought I recanted. I said he couldn't pick it up, and then I recanted and said that he could pick it up, but he realized how Thor was going to be very upset about that, and how arrogant, how he wanted to be a team player, and that seemed to fit everything. I'm going to recant on that. I'm going to renege on that in a sense and say that I believe fully that what happens is that Mjolnir is like Excalibur. If you're worthy, you can pull it out. If not, it's not moving, right? I watched the movie, the scene again, and he pulls it a little bit. It's not like he drags it a little bit, and then he tries again and he can't do it. And I believe what happened was, whatever the reason why, a lot of people saying it was because of Bucky and, the information he held from Tony about Bucky killing Tony's parents, is that only when that he became worthy. I believe Mjolnir was like, you know what, now that I think about it, you're actually not worthy. Nobody else who was worthy enough had any trouble picking it up. And you can't really tell from him just sliding it just a little bit if he could pick it up. You understand? Okay.
Age of Ultron happened before he found out about Bucky killing Tony Stark's parents.
Wasn't that Winter Soldier at the end? He got that Winter Soldier. He found out the information.
No.
Yes, because Thing gave it to him.
No.
Yeah. Winter Soldier happened before that.
Yes, it did.
It was Captain America.
No, it was in
Avengers.
Civil War
You know
that
what
he
this
found
sounds
out
like?
about the whole thing
Plot
with the
hole.
parents.
No, he found
Redundant?
out about- at the end
And
of
it Winter
But
Soldier.
also-
Winter
too,
Soldier, he hands him the
But they also said when you grab Millionaire, it's Millionaire,
Yeah.
that certain cosmic information does become available to you. But again, Steve Rogers.
My
Yes.
my guess is past Mjolnir found future Cap worthy with all the experience and all the shit that he had gone through from Age of Ultron up until Endgame.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah,
That's another theory too.
that makes sense.
Because like you can't have Cap, that particular Cap in Endgame, without all the nonsense, all the crap that he
Right.
went through since Age of Ultron. So again, past Mjolnir found future Cap worthy. That's where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
So
The Winter Soldier came out April 4th, 2014. Age of Ultron was May 1st, 2015.
But when did he find out about the parents?
in
Winter Soldier.
You went to Soldier
At the
Winter
end.
Soldier.
when
He reminded me of it.
Yeah, so Black Widow gives him the pamphlet
When
with
they-
Bucky's name on it.
right.
His file of everything that he's done.
Mhm.
And then she was like,
Because remember, they released all like files of Shield and Hydra like to the public,
Correct.
so all of that was common knowledge.
WikiLeaks.
Wait, that
Nice one. Nice one.
But I don't think that.
because
I don't
a
think
mission
that
report.
was,
No, I don't think that
But-
was leaked.
but
I
it
don't
was-
think
it
that
was-
was one of the leaked files.
But
Mission
it was
report.
given to Captain America, like literally filed in his hand.
Yeah,
with
at the
all
end.
of
Well-
all of Bucky's missions.
Well, the reason I say that is because even Zemo says it in Civil
Oh, yeah,
War
that's what it is.
that a lot of the stuff was made public, and that's how he was able to find out about Mission Report December 16, 1991.
Right.
But I think
Check.
my
See what you did.
my theory in Age of Ultron is, was Cap able to lift the hammer? I say yes.
Okay.
And I think that because you can't be sort of pregnant, right? You're either pregnant or you're not, right?
That's my.
Right? Like, you can't be sort of pregnant. You're either pregnant
Oh, you're not.
or you're not. So I think he was. I think that he was able to lift the hammer, but he didn't lift the hammer.
Well,
And
well,
now using my thing against me.
whatever the reason is, however Mjolnir decides who is worthy, who is deemed worthy, maybe Cap's guilt was the one that was holding him back from lifting Mjolnir the first time around.
But I think he was able to lift it in Age of Ultron.
Because overall, I think by far it's experience that is deemed a person worthy of Mjolnir.
You see, I
They
don't.
changed-
Because look
they
at
changed that, yeah.
in the
Because-
beginning of Thor, his powers were taken away. He wasn't worthy anymore. Now he makes the ultimate sacrifice, and Mjolnir brings him back.
Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is, as far as Cap goes, he was able to budget, and then and if you guys don't realize, Age of Ultron was almost like a direct prequel to Endgame. Like, so there was so much beats in Age of Ultron. You could watch that movie right before and be caught up with everything. When Cap eventually lifts it in Endgame, Thor says, "I knew it." And so that kind of confirms that he knew he was able to lift it this entire time, but he didn't purposely.
He said, "Yeah, I knew it," in the buddy voice, like, "I knew
And
it."
they got kicked through the chest.
Yeah. Well, I just looked it up real quick, and Joe Russo said, I think in Age of Ultron, he may not have picked up the hammer in order not to embarrass Thor. So if Joe Russo said it, no matter what I say,
Wait, could you repeat that again one more time? What he
sure,
said?
no problem. Joe Russo said, I think in Age of Ultron, he may have not picked up the hammer.
He said, I think.
I think in Age of Ultron, he may have not picked up the
May.
hammer in order to embarrass Thor.
See, because at this point now, they're just filling in the gaps in terms, they're just putting in their 2 cents as to what they feel. They didn't make the movie, but still, they're adding a little feedback to some of the explanations that happens,
the Russo
back then.
brothers kind of have the final say in the MCU universe. So, I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I agree that in the beginning he wasn't able to do it, but now because they're moving forward, they're like, yeah, he was. Now that Endgame is happening, yeah, he was. He just didn't want to embarrass.
Just like Peter Parker was the little boy in
And
Iron Man 2.
Just
Yeah,
like
it's a
how
retcon.
Captain America was Peggy husband all this time. It's like, that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I have the name for Phase 4. Marvel presents plot holes. Yes,
Listen,
Avengers.
Marvel
Listen.
Avengers plot holes.
I'm not trying to just throw shade here. Sorry, T.
Yep.
But Marvel could afford those plot holes. DC, I don't know.
Flag on the play.
So, I mean,
penalty.
He's
I'm
gonna
gonna
kick
give,
DC while
actually,
they're
B
down.
versus S.
I'm gonna give DC its due. This
Martha.
is because I haven't seen Shazam yet, but my cousin saw it and he gave a perfect rant for it of why to be pissed off with Warner Brothers. He goes, Shazam was good for him. He goes, it feels like this was the movie that Warner Brothers was basically fighting against to make because ever since Superman Returns and Green Lantern, like, no comedy, we want to go all dark. Wrong person they gave was Zack Snyder to run the universe because Snyder, every moment, if you notice, would always throw shade at Marvel.
Yeah.
which is not the first thing you do. Like I remember he shitted on Ant-Man. It was like, oh, who wants to see a movie about Ant-Man trying to sell Batman?
Every day, yeah, it was kind of.
That movie was dope.
At the
and
end,
then Batman versus Superman went.
at the end of the day, directors are gonna throw shade no matter what.
That's what-
Even
I can't help you
even
see.
James Cameron threw shade at the superhero movie industry, saying it ain't gonna do well, whatever. But they're sending notes to Marvel saying congrats on reaching $1 billion, or getting up there and shit.
Because he wants his hand in the pocket.
And overall, now you have one of the Russos saying that suddenly they're interested in directing a Batman movie.
But here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. Again, going back to Snyder.
It's interesting that Cameron is throwing shade when he's technically doing a superhero movie. It's called Avatar. Right. Okay, Fern Gully, whatever.
I'm not gonna lie.
Reel it back in.
Look.
I was gonna say,
all right, go ahead.
With going over with Snyder, again, when I was saying that he gives Marvel so much shade, I think it was a week or two before Endgame came out. He was like, "Oh yeah, if they let me do Justice League the way I wanted to do it, like it would have involved time travel and all that." What did we get in Endgame? We got time travel.
Yeah.
So again, it's Snyder throwing shade.
Well, Snyder's throwing shade, but at the same time, later
He's trying
on,
to be
he
relevant.
did say that he watches the movies. He watches the movies and he enjoys them.
Yeah.
Directors are
Can
weird.
I say something real
Directors
quick?
are weird.
So Zack Snyder, as you guys know, I'm a Zack Snyder fan. However, one thing,
Cancer.
I'm gonna get you a I Love ZS shirt.
one
Fair
thing that
enough.
I hate, and I've hated this for a long time, is that I hate the fact that since Justice League has come out and he's been fired and all that other stuff, he has come out and it's like every statement that he makes, it's a slap in Warner Brothers' face. It's a slap in Warner Brothers' face. It's like at some point in time, you just look desperate, bro.
Yeah.
Where's my money at?
Come on.
Where's my money at?
Come
I mean,
on.
I think
Like,
we give Robert Zemeckis credit because he says his movie was a piece of shit.
Right,
He
right,
admitted it.
right. And it's like, come on, like I get it. In my opinion, I still love the movie. I get it. People don't like it. I completely understand and I see why people don't like it. I could look past it and I like it. However, one thing that it bothers me is hearing Zack Snyder constantly say, "Hey, this and this and this," or they did this. It was like, all right, like it's been like 3 years, man.
I
Come
think-
on, move on. Like at some point, move on.
I know we're bitter, but damn.
as a director, like put yourself in his shoes. This is something that you're looking forward to direct. You're being told by the studio you have somewhat creative control to do this movie. Now you made the movie and they're telling you it's shitty.
Yeah, but I think
That's the whole reason why
Okay,
a lot of
that's fine,
actors.
but
That's the whole reason why a
that's
lot of
fine,
actors go around saying, "Studios, trust your directors." If
Right.
the actors trust their directors, then why can't the studio?
I completely agree. But at some point, he has got to
Move on.
Move on.
Like,
Are you
like-
saying that he is the Bret Hart of the superhero cinematic?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I mean,
and I love Zack Snyder. I love his work. I love 300. I love
think-
BVS. I love Watchmen. I didn't love Justice.
You like Sucker Punch?
I love Sucker Punch. I did love. Sucker
I didn't.
Punch.
I didn't
No.
Huh?
Movie
You're walking
stinks on
home
ice.
today.
No.
I did.
I'll just say
I,
this.
I didn't love
I'ma
Sucker
give-
Punch.
There's a
I
huge.
liked it.
There's
I
a
watched
huge
it. I got into
billboard. All right by the ferry. And for a long time, I had Sucker Punch, and every time I came home and I saw that, I'd be like, "Why do I have a bad feeling about this movie, yo? Why?"
The
I
movie
don't
was
know.
for suckers.
It was.
I think
We got Sucker Punched.
for his 3-year tantrum plus, he just needs to understand is people get more faith and love directors who are salty at first because it shows that you're a human, but then do something about it and be better. You understand? When you make a better movie, it's like, you know what? I realize we made a mistake, but we made this specifically for the fans. This is our apology. Blah blah blah. Of course, we come back.
It's
like this new phase of movies that they're going now because now they're saying that they're figuring out their formula. You know for the fact they wanted James Gunn, hence why they hired him to do the Suicide Squad
too.
movie. They're rebooting it. It's a
Yes.
reboot of the whole franchise.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's brave.
My
Wait,
cousin put,
what are they
like-
rebooting?
Suicide
Squad.
Oh
It's
yeah,
being rebooted.
yeah. Oh yeah, I heard that.
My cousin put it this way: it's like they're trying to figure out their thing now. Some of these movies have been good. Shout out to Ed666. Some of these movies have been good, but it's just that those first few movies, DC was just trying to rush things. They couldn't find their footing in the door. Now they're finding their footing. It's like that's I think what has more actually me mad because even though I shit on DC movies a lot, I do. I feel like this. If Warner Brothers, and I'm not gonna say DC, if Warner Brothers had taken the time to actually develop these actors as these characters and not try to copy what another studio was doing or copy a formula that they think was going to work, because again, they were copying Nolan's Batman, then why don't you just do the extended universe off of Nolan's Batman?
Which made more sense.
Which would have been, would have been made a lot more sense if that's the route you wanted to go. But again, you entrusted Zack Snyder, and nothing against Snyder, because Snyder gives you a very beautiful shots. Watchmen was beautifully done.
Yeah.
I give credit for that. 300 was beautiful done. Sucker Punch has beautiful shots, but a shitty story. DC, Warner Brothers rushed these movies because they wanted to catch up to Marvel.
Yeah.
That's the spirit of Jack Warner, guys. I keep telling you that. That greedy mofo that is influencing all the higher-ups for all that money.
Yeah.
You hear that, Warner Brothers? I'm not afraid.
Soon the bunny is going to be owned by the mouse. Mickey Mouse is going to be in the back like, take that bunny.
Anyway, go ahead.
So, I guess what other character? Captain Marvel. I guess Captain Marvel, who I believe her role in the movie was short but very sweet. I think she had a marvelous role. I mean, no pun intended. Well, kind of pun intended.
Yeah.
I loved her role in the movie. It's a short, sweet, to the point.
We're talking about Endgame. Just want to make sure, right?
Endgame, yeah,
Okay,
Endgame.
cool. I think when it comes to Captain Marvel, I did like her. I more so like the precedents they set, which is we're going for, which I'll ask again. Like going forward, she's not necessarily stationed on Earth,
right.
Which I'm hoping they'll explore and show us more movies that take place on elsewhere with her, and maybe a better crew or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not Shield. I forgot Sword. Sword might come into play, and whatever else, obviously, and maybe she'll come back for like another Civil War or maybe Secret Wars or whatever. So that would be dope going forward. I agree with you. It was short but sweet, and it was dope. Like when she came back on the field and she blew up the whole ship, like that was dope. And oh my god, that was dope. Yeah,
like, visually that was just.
But we knew she was powerful, but it was like, how powerful are you?
Boom, 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 boom.
Did you catch that quick look that people were picking up on when she gave Rhodey that look?
Yeah.
Yes.
The forced romance. Here we go.
What forced romance? That was in the comics.
Yeah,
in
that was
the
in the
comics, but they never explained. There's
a 5-year gap, Fernando.
Just like you keep saying that there's no development in DC.
Wait, which part was this? Was this before they
it was
killed?
just
when they were in that room talking
she's a
to
hologram.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
All of them are holograms?
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, Rhodey, whatever." And
Be careful.
She said, "Be careful."
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't. I think it was nothing set up as to where after the movie finished, they weren't making out, they weren't holding hands.
I think they're gonna save that for her
they're
song.
gonna save it. I think it was just an
Intermission.
incline. It was an incline to it.
Marvel did the same
That was
thing
it.
with Black Widow and Hulk.
Okay.
Out of nowhere, they were.
First of all, can I just say I hated that?
That was weird.
That was weird.
That was
I
weird.
felt the exact same way.
I-
with this one, it's like, all right, I
that-
get it's in the
yeah.
comic,
Yeah.
But
I
like,
agree with you
build
with
it,
that. I
build
agree
it.
with that.
but build up to it.
Okay.
But it's like I feel like that the only reason they went that route is because they couldn't get Betty Ross again at that time,
I don't know.
and I don't know. Liv Tyler could recast it. Who knows?
I mean, the funny thing is that they bring back the same guy who played General Ross.
Awesome.
Again, I think at that
Yeah.
time they got the loophole
Yeah.
figured out.
Okay.
They couldn't do it before that. Well, I mean, he was in Iron Man, wasn't he? He was on the.
No,
DVD
he
for
was
Iron
at
Man.
he was at the end. Well, he
Yeah,
he
Tony
was in
Stark
Hulk.
was on the DVD for the Hulk.
Yeah, he
Yes.
was in the end credit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that the it was a shot like a after shot or one of them one marvelous shot or something like that.
It was
That
like a
on
mid
Iron
credit
Man.
scene.
No, I mean
For-
I remember at the mid credit scene when he showed up to the bar.
Yeah.
But I also thought that they expanded. I want to say it was like a 15-minute.
No, they didn't do it.
Short
I remember him
shot.
in Age of Ultron. He was like in that movie for like
Yeah.
a good chunk of it, and he was in it in
I'm thinking
because he was setting up the Sokovia Accords and all that jazz.
Oh, you mean Civil War?
Yeah,
Civil
Civil
War,
War.
and he was also in parts of Age of Ultron.
I thought it was.
Was he?
I think so.
I don't think it was.
I don't think he was.
No, because it was a big thing. Because it was a big thing when
Okay.
they mentioned that he was coming back in Civil War, the actor. Because I remember when Civil War was coming out, and they were going to introduce the Accords, like, oh, we're bringing an actor that was in the Edward Norton Hulk movie.
My question
That made
is-
sense.
Yeah.
My question is, where were the scrolls in all this? It would have been nice to see the scrolls.
I think they might touch up on that subject again.
No,
I think
I
that's
should've
Phase
seen them in
4.
Endgame, man.
I mean, Skrulls.
Great.
I think the Captain Marvel was a good way to introduce the Skrulls. That way, it gives everyone the idea that they exist. They're
And the
out
crew.
there.
Right.
and the Kree.
They
They're
should
out
at least
there.
Brought Ben Mendelsohn's character, the main Skrull, and brought him back as like part Human Torch, part thing to kind
But
of
I don't
hint
think
at
he.
an alternate universe Fantastic Four.
But I don't think he's that Skrull that becomes Super Skrull.
No.
And it's like whatever setup they did for his character. Because I kind of like in Captain Marvel, like we got the commercials like, oh wait, the Skrulls are the villains, the Skrulls are the villains. I kind of like they changed the fact that they were refugees at that time because of what the Kree did to them. But now you have years that have passed, so they're probably a superpower now.
Yeah.
They have to be.
I felt like they were such a waste in Captain Marvel. I'm like, God damn, it's such a good storyline that they blew so hard.
Well, now they have a much better
Yeah.
chance to blossom in Phase 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you
I
notice,
guess.
origin movies, they give you something of an introduction to characters, but then they kind of shine in part 2.
Let me
I
ask
know-
you though, when Captain Marvel came back, since I kind of skipped her parts in the new movie, did they play "I'm Just a Girl" again when she came out?
No. I didn't agree with that soundtrack. That soundtrack was a little. That soundtrack threw me off.
That was rough.
We talk about this soundtrack all the time. We talk about Captain Marvel, even the last time. Listen, it was an okay movie. All right, I felt like they could have done better. It was better than Wonder Woman to me personally.
The first
To-
Wonder Woman?
Yes, the first Wonder
There's
Woman.
only one Wonder Woman.
DCU Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought it was better.
Okay.
It was just like they went the whole route without developing further. We talked about this on the last episode. I'm not going to really go into it again, but I just felt like they didn't really develop. They took the whole amnesia route, and I guess they left that more to be fully developed. All right, cool, fine. T.
Give her the Wolverine treatment.
Yeah, pretty much. Who am I?
Um,
My Batman voice.
Gonna say, actually, I do want to save Iron Man for last, so let's go to his best friend Rhodey.
Okay.
I found his I found it kind of weird with Rhodey. I don't know
Ryan says
why.
Terrence Howard.
Huh? He just showed up dark skin one day.
Like Aunt Viv on
Right.
Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince out of the blue.
she got lighter.
No, but yeah, I just found his use in Endgame wasn't as much as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna revolve around him as much as the other Avengers, and I felt like it was kind of just it just wasn't there as much.
He's always been that character that's, for some reason, when it's coming to these team movies, he's kind of taken a little bit more of a backseat.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get him in the cool armor, the cool scenes, some of the little cool lines here or there. I mean, Don Cheadle, I think, for what he's given, has done justice with the character.
Yes.
Again, I think that scene between him and Captain Marvel is to set up him to continue in another franchise movies, because he shined in Iron Man 2. Because that was the most screen time we've had.
Right.
He was okay. I mean, Iron Man 3 sucked, but we had Brody in Iron Man
Right.
3
Yeah.
as the Iron Patriot, which hopefully they bring back that in some type of Dark Avenger storyline with Norman Osborn. Yeah, I feel like when it comes to the big team movies, because they're working with so many characters, there's not much that they can do with Rhodey but fly in the armor and blow shit up.
No. I was gonna just piggyback back off of that too, because like I get where you're coming from. In Endgame, he didn't really have that much screen time, or maybe not that much impact. He didn't have that much impact.
Yeah.
But looking back at the previous movies, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Civil War, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's impactful in those moments too.
Small.
Yeah, it's small but impactful moments. And Endgame, I don't feel like he was really needed, although they did make him shine where they could.
I think one place that he did shine was that conversation he had with Nebula when they was on that planet waiting for Quill to arrive.
Yes.
When he was basically saying that
How did they put the stone back there too? Like, loophole. Yeah, sorry.
Well, here's the theory. I mean, go ahead,
That's right.
and I'll go back to my theory of how they put the stone back.
So, real quick, I think that
And how,
his conversation that he had with Nebula, saying, when she was saying I wasn't always this type of machine.
Yeah.
He was saying that I wasn't always like this either. Talking about his legs.
right. What's
I
the
thought-
bonding moment? Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty cool moment.
Maybe we overlooked that one.
Because
Yeah.
he is definitely. How could he look at Vision? How could he look at that team and be okay with it?
He's kind of like, it's funny because every time they show Rhodey, like when they showed him in Avengers Infinity War, he was on the opposite side. And then Cap walks in, he's like, arrest them. He's like, you guys are on the arrest. Welcome back, guys. He's kind of like that grounded guy for the team, like kind of like
He's
their
a rock
friend,
guy.
like they're like, hey guys, how you doing? His scene in Civil War when he fell and broke his back, that was again Rhodey was showing the effects of that superhero life. It's not all
Yeah.
glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
You're going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Not everybody's superhuman and can easily bounce back. Nobody's like, I like to say, you can get hurt by the script. The plot can't save you.
Yeah.
But he plays the character. I mean, they found ways for him to walk, obviously, with the technology that they
Yeah.
have, of which we had technology like they had in the Marvel Universe.
I mean,
Maybe
we
not, but
Do not available to us. Okay, you know what? Not get political. You're right.
Yeah. But, no. He has his moments in each movie briefly. Like, the whole thing when he was looking for Sam at the end of Infinity War, yelling, Sam, and then he sees, what's his face? Sam, he's like fading out. Falcon's fading out. So, I mean, again, he has his small moments. And I think,
No, I agree with you. I just want to move forward because I think with Don's character, I am looking forward to seeing him develop more. That would be great for Marvel to make more spin-off movies or series with that.
They wanted to, but they couldn't find the right writing. Because these are the characters that they wanted to have movies for. Was War Machine, Beta Ray Bill. There was talks of Adam Warlock at one point.
What? And what's another thing too? What are they gonna do with him?
Okay. Well,
Guardians 3, that's what
I
they
think
put
he,
around.
yeah,
But-
probably Guardians 3,
Yeah,
but
that
I
makes
think
sense.
I think the reason why they didn't do those characters or go into those extra movies is Feige said, we wanted to focus on core stuff first, and this wasn't kind of core stuff. Like Beta Ray Bill, you're hinted at in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Where they said we may get Beta Ray Bill in Guardians 3 now and Quasar. Rhodey, I don't know how we would go about a solo War Machine movie. I think it would be dope. But then
I think
again,
it's too
what type
political.
of script? It's super. Yeah,
I think
don't
it's
know
too
what script.
political. Yeah.
I think he works best, just like in the comics. He's always been a supporting character.
Yeah,
Right,
It'd
yeah.
be too political, and people would be up in arms about it. Whether or not it's
Yeah.
true. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, because Iron Man had Spider-Man had that great line in the trailer where it was like, well, we need the next Iron Man. Is that something that, are we going to see Rhodey have those same
I think they're
questions?
gonna give it to a younger actor.
No, I mean, as far as is he going to have that question? Like,
I
am
don't-
I going to have to step into that role?
I don't think there's going to be a physical Iron Man for some time.
No. What I'm saying is, like,
Yeah.
they asked that question.
Okay.
Is Spider-Man going to be the next Iron Man? That's what they said in
Yeah.
the trailer. That's what was said.
Yeah.
Asked of him. I'm just wondering: is Rhodey at home sitting down, looking what's going on? Does he have his head in his palms, saying, "Do I need to?
I think
Do I have to change my suit? Basically, am I gonna
Yeah.
have to wear that red and gold suit, or can I continue wearing my black suit and be just fine, or do it like?" It's almost like Batman. When Batman is gone, Robin has got to wear that
Nightwing.
suit. Nightwing has
Yeah.
got to wear that suit.
Well, it's also a
Generally, most
perfect
times,
opportunity for them to bring in Ironheart. It's a perfect opportunity for them if they want to go the route with that kid who was in Iron Man 3. Because I feel
Tyler
I
Zane.
feel like the fact that they had him there at the funeral was dope.
Mm.
Yeah.
But if they don't use him for any future development, like
It's a
as
waste.
Iron Lad or
Yeah.
something like that, I think it's going to be a waste.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think. In all honesty, like I don't want to see. I don't want to see War Machine change his armor like in the comic book. I don't want to see anybody wear
War
any
Machine is
armor
War Machine.
anymore.
He's
Yeah.
not going to do it because remember, although he's Tony Stark's friend to an extent, best friend, excuse me. He's still loyal to the government. You understand that? That's a big thing. He showed that in Civil War. Don't get me wrong. In Endgame, Infinity War, he may have switched places and all this other stuff for Tony, but Tony's gone. His allegiance. Remember, the Iron Man suit that he has belongs to the government.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
They changed it.
It's a suit.
Since Infinity War, dude.
Really?
Remember,
I missed it. I'm sorry.
When
The
he
Iron
said
Man-
I'm going to be right on it, and he thinked away. He was like, that's a court martial. So right now he's technically wanted.
Ah.
Yeah, I think the events of all that happened is going to be erased
Yeah.
because of what the Avengers
But I
did.
feel like maybe
But also,
he's
too,
a
again,
futurist.
we're gonna-
Maybe
yeah.
Tony Stark planned for something like this, and maybe they won't get the suit.
And who's to
Okay.
say that he didn't build him another suit
Right.
because the Iron Patriot suit was the government's.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. I sit back down on this one. Good.
And Miss Pepper getting her own suit, finally actually getting that nice reveal. I'm like, yay!
Okay, so there's been this problem with like the female moment, the female scene.
I loved it.
I love.
I don't know
I
why.
absolutely loved it.
I loved it too. I was just like, they
What?
should have had. I wish Black Widow was still alive for this.
Yeah.
What this
That's
is,
the
this
only
is
thing.
the only people that have a problem with that scene is butt hurt men.
I agree.
Yeah, like there was dope. It was dope, and honestly, like I said, I wish Black Widow was alive because I think they would have kicked more tail. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Yeah. But unfortunately, she's gone the way of the Soul Stone. I thought it was dope. I thought Wanda finally got her just due in showing her powers in action, because before she was like teetering and dealing with this, and then she was like, no, and you realize how powerful she can be. She's actually to an extent more powerful than Thanos without the Infinity Stone and the Gauntlet. But however, they didn't show that in this universe.
I just love that it's like one of those things like, I don't know about you, gotta learn today.
Well, we got a tease of that in Infinity War. If she was able to keep Thanos away from Vision so she can destroy the Soul Stone for that long, then I expected something even better and bigger in Endgame.
She was gonna kill him. She had him, and then
our troops do it.
Do it now!
Right.
Mom,
he knew it.
Kill me.
He knew it.
He knew it.
He had her in Infinity. I mean, she had him in Infinity War, holding him back.
Right.
And I guess after she killed Vision, her guard was down, and he was able to just incapacitate her real quick.
Right.
Physically, she's no match for her.
Just like Ronan's guard was down when his family went snappy snap.
No, people are dark here.
Okay. Who has mayo on a hot dog though? Like,
I think we're gonna get more deep into Scarlet Witch's powers because
X-Men.
She's also wait. We'll get.
Okay.
There is an X-Men theory that's floating around. I want to touch up on, but with Scarlet Witch, I think the more that we see the character, the more they're gonna push, because if you notice, each movie they bring the character in, she gets more powerful.
Yeah.
In the comics, she's able to alter reality.
Right.
So since they're also bringing in alternate
amongst
realities,
multiple universes, I just want to multiple universes. Yes.
She is that type of. Even Doctor Strange has said that she's pretty powerful in the comics. Now, to touch on the X-Men, because you mentioned them,
why
they were saying, you notice how the Infinity Gauntlet, they were talking about how it lets out. Bruce was saying in the Marvel universe, it was letting out a type of radiation.
Right.
So they were saying that that's a theory where that can possibly introduce
the X-Men
into the MCU.
The mutations?
Yeah, because they're talking about that we may not get X-Men movies for the next 5 years. Who knows that if that's true or not? But the fact that through mutations, since the radiation went all around the world.
I think that's a little bit of a stretch, only because they still have Celestials, and the Celestials are the one who
or it could be something that woke up the X gene.
Right. Yeah,
everybody exposed to gamma.
Well, it's a 5-year gap. So
yeah.
At the end of those 5 years, after Endgame, anything can happen.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, it did take some time for the X gene to be activated anyway, so that'd be interesting to see.
Activated, develop, and then you got everyone else who came back from the snap.
I forgot the first meeting with the female, but then Apocalypse came and all this other stuff. I'm really interested to see how they do that.
No.
All right, so
Tony,
let's go to the guy. So one thing about Iron Man, Mr. Tony Stark is, again, I think I mentioned this earlier, but this movie was almost like it was an answer to a lot of the questions that people had in Age of Ultron. Was Captain America, was Iron Man right in Age of Ultron? This movie kind of proved that he was right.
Yeah.
His methods was probably wrong, but he was definitely right. When he says, Endgame, and he says, how are we going to beat the Endgame? And then Captain America says, together. And then, I think that was a moment, and they paid that off in Endgame, because how did they beat? They beat them together. Everybody was there, so I thought that was such a great callback.
Although Tony was pissed when he got off that ship, though. He's like, I needed you.
He was like, where were you?
But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it was just I just really liked it. I really do like the two movies together. If you watch them back to back, I did that a couple days ago. I watched them back to back, and it answers a lot of questions that people had at the end of Age of Ultron.
I like the fact that in Infinity War we had him holding Tom Holland with that death scene when Tom Holland died. But then you had kind of a reversal of that in Endgame where Tom Holland is crying, looking at Tony Stark dying, and when Pepper also told him, you can rest now, because that was going back to you're gonna be here, you're not gonna be able to rest.
Right.
So it's like he was always up, where if you look at a lot of the movies, especially in callback with Iron Man 3, how he was suffering from PTSD because of everything that happened in the Battle of the Avengers in New York.
Oh,
It was like...
that's such a great concept, but such a crappy movie.
It is. It's
No, seriously, like, and I was so
it is
hyped
the
for
stepchild of the Marvel Universe. The movie had concepts that I think whatever was happening, they needed it. I think it got rectified with Civil War, and it got rectified with his role in Spider-Man.
So
I wanted a blanket around the world. Didn't matter if it ruined your precious freedoms, but that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, but just touching that for just a second. At what point do we let go of our civil liberties? Right? I mean, that's a real world. That's a real world question.
I mean, we already did.
I mean, well, not. I mean, we can say that, but the public doesn't know.
But I mean, that's why it's like, that's what Cap was there.
Right.
That's why him and Cap had that fallout.
That's what
and
Civil War
that's
was
what,
about.
it was all about. Because Cap was like, I lived through this before. We're not going to go that route.
Right.
Is it just me, or did Tony give like that sort of like frown, like I needed you, I needed you, like where were you,
Daddy? I needed you. Why'd you leave me?
Yeah,
why'd you leave me? Huh?
So in the previous episode, we all thought Tony was gonna live and that Cap was gonna die.
Yeah.
And Tony
He did die of old age.
Yeah, facts. Well, he's still alive.
He's still alive.
Technically.
Technically,
He didn't die. So
Cap
Tony
aggro.
dies, and it's interesting because I'm looking forward to seeing how much his impact on Tom they show. There's a theory, supposedly, like, what if they have Tobey Maguire come from an alternate universe to school Tom Holland, which would be dope, but I feel like Tobey's a horrible Spider-Man anyway, so it's like,
I mean, this is the thing.
He was in a
Toby is not a horrible Spider-Man.
He was!
not.
Listen,
Listen.
Hold on.
We don't talk about Spider-Man 3. He was good in Spider-Man 1 and 2. Spider-Man 3.
Emo Toby?
If it wasn't
That's
for
Spider-Man
Spider-Man, you wouldn't have your beloved Captain
That's a lie.
United States.
Actually,
That's a lie.
if it wasn't for Blade,
If it wasn't
we
Blade,
would
Blade set it off.
Whatever.
All right,
Blade
shut up.
but no. If you give
Shut your
Toby,
dirty mouth.
but you see, this is the thing. They kind of used the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man for a template for Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
If you notice that.
Yeah.
If you give me the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man from the first two Spider-Man movies and erase that third Spider-Man movie, we're good. Because we don't need emo Spider-Man. If you give me Garfield from the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, not the second one, we good. Because that second Spider-Man movie with Jamie Foxx
Yeah.
doing the dubstep, we didn't need that.
Well, I would say that in the second Amazing Spider-Man movie, I think he was his actual character was good. I think the whole movie around him and what was the Gwen Stacy? What's the actor?
Yeah, they really downplayed because
That
everybody was
girl.
waiting for the Gwen Stacy
That
death,
girl.
and they really downplayed it because it was, I forget at the time, I think it was A.V. Arad, I think that was his name. He was in charge of the Spider-Man verse, and he was, again, this goes back to someone throwing hate and shade at what Marvel was doing.
Yeah.
He was like, well, I was part of Marvel at one point. I'm kind of responsible for that Marvel universe. We're going to do the same thing with Spider-Man. We're going to bring in Sinister Six, bring the Sinister Six movie. And then there was those rumors about, we're going to have an Aunt May movie. We're going to have a Black Cat movie. We're going to have this movie, that movie. Build our own Spider-Man universe. And what happened?
Nothing.
Listen, if we're gonna explore the multiverse and all this jazz, if we're gonna bring someone back from the Tobey Maguire movies, I want William Dafoe as Green Goblin.
Oh,
Agreed.
yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yes.
He killed
Yes.
it. I think he's the best
Yes.
Spider-Man
Him.
villain I've seen.
Yes.
As Green
Say what
Goblin.
you want about Doc
Yes.
Ock. No.
No.
I remember that scene when he's coming up the elevator and he's like transforming back into like
Yes,
Harry.
yes.
He does the little weird. Oh my god.
And the butler.
So anyway, Tony. It was like so many people were so distraught over Tony dying.
Yeah.
I mean, I was all about Captain, so I was hyped over Captain, but I was sad too. I don't think he's going to stay dead. I think they're going to bring him back. In the comics, he has a twin brother. Because actually, he's the clone, if I'm not mistaken. His twin brother's the actual son. I forgot exactly how it goes. I think they're going to bring like his AI, like they're going to download his brain into an AI, and then there'll be like a female Iron Man per se, which would be Riri Williams of sorts. Or they could go a different route, but I think there will be a Riri Williams Iron Man. I don't know how long that's going to last.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You said he in the comics he had a twin brother.
Yes, he had a twin brother.
Is that could explain the reason why he was trying to figure out in his head in that scene when he meets up with his dad in the past? Because he was saying that his wife was pregnant. And for that moment, to me, it looked like Tony got confused for a moment. Like, wait a minute, you're pregnant. Well, you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, towards the end, in the middle,
Yeah.
when he's about to leave.
Could that possibly be a tease to what you're saying?
Possibly.
I just don't think
Because he
child that
seemed
he
because
disowned?
he seemed confused. He seemed confused as to the time.
I gotta watch
period.
it again.
I don't think
honestly.
they would have.
But Tony was born in 71, and that was 1970, so...
Yeah, because then it would be like, okay, your father's a bastard because you know.
Because if I went back in time and my dad told me, that my mom was expecting and it was 1981, then yes, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, it's getting there, But
Right.
Tony looked off when he was told
I
that his
think-
mom was expecting.
I think
I think it was
just
more of
surprised.
closure with his dad because if you remember, in one of the clips, it was in Avengers. No, it was in Civil War, Captain America: Civil War. They kind of showed that scene of him dealing with his parents and how his dad was kind of
Right.
like a little
A
bit
jerk.
of a hard ass and jerk on him.
Yeah.
I think this was more of closure for Tony with his father since we were getting that character death in this arc.
Well, that's how I interpreted the scene.
Yeah,
It looked
I'd have
like
to watch it again.
It looked like he
Yeah.
was confused for a moment, like, wait a minute, she's expecting, but I wasn't. Again, if I went back and saw my dad told me my mom was expecting. It's
I
1981. At least I know,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
I think it was like more of like he was like he didn't think that his dad would care because he was like because his dad was genuinely worried like I don't know what I'm gonna do with. He's like I'm worried. He's like I just want to give this my son the best for this world.
Yeah, because I do want to piggyback off of that. In Civil War, Age of Ultron, holographic dad is a bit of a hard butt, right? And Tony kind of makes it seem like although they were at odds, if he had known this was going to be like the last time he saw his dad, he would have done everything to like kind of like make things right. And yet here it is, he hears his dad before he has Tony, and he realizes like this is kind of the closure for anybody that's going through anything with their parents or whatnot, and like as a teenager you hate your parents, you feel like your parents don't understand you and all this other stuff. You don't want them dead, even though you may say it sometimes like I just wish you guys were gone. And if you're lucky enough to still have them, then years later you understand, and even if you don't, like, oh wow, they were trying to teach me something.
Yes.
Oh wow, they really did love me. But then to actually hear it from them, even though it's the past, is a totally different thing. Is a totally different and heartfelt thing. And I think that's maybe the direction they're going. But never know with Marvel. Maybe he was confused. I'm gonna watch it again, but I think that's where they were
That
going.
and also that scene kind of confirms that the TVs exist in their universe, right? With Jarvis, wasn't she
Yes.
in?
The
I
first
think.
character to come over.
Was it Agents of Shield or
No.
Agent
it was,
Carter?
Agent Carter. It kind of confirms that
But
show
then now,
existed.
going back to what I read recently, I think I sent you guys the same thing, that they're not making the TVs and the movies like canon
Yeah.
now.
Well,
They're
here-
separating.
That's
here's
weird.
what
That
they're-
makes no sense.
Here's what's going on.
They had such a good thing going.
They
They had a
did.
good spades partner. Why
Kevin
change?
Feige says Kevin Feige said he wants like in the future, and I think he talked about future TV shows to have also an impact with the movies and kind of try to tie them in.
Mhm.
That was an interview reporter in Geek Tyrant. I think the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because they've gone so far off from the original MCU that they were a part of, and I think it was at that time when Disney was like, no, the movie studio approached directly to us. Kevin Feige didn't have control of those TV shows at the time. What they did with Jarvis being there, I think that was a nod to the Peggy Carter show because that was canceled after season 2.
Right.
So you could kind of still write in what Peggy did.
Right.
But what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has done is kind of like they've gone really far off the Marvel Universe because you have no mention in the MCU about the Inhumans, but you have them on the TV show. And whatever they're doing, like they went into some future or a timeline or whatever. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. can probably be like an alternate timeline of
What
what's
if,
going
a
on.
what if world?
I feel like they can still
Yeah.
be. Well, yeah, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense for them to branch off. I was gonna say it used to be continuity because movies can always adapt certain things.
Because
and
originally
make
it was.
sense,
Originally
yeah.
it was, but then they did the studio splits and
I mean, it makes sense. It comes in time of Endgame.
Those guys reported up to the right chain. Other guys, the TV shows reported up to the left chain. That's what it was. And the guys on the right couldn't control what was going on the left, and they was like, you know what?
What do you guys? How do you guys feel about the future of the characters now from this movie? Like, what do you think is gonna happen with Thor? What do you think is gonna happen?
oh, I got something for Thor.
What's
Oh,
gonna
man.
happen to Hulk? Even though we know he's kind of like tied down, what do you think is gonna happen to Falcon as Captain America, and even Bucky? And what's gonna happen to Black Panther? etc.
Is the Falcon and Winter Soldier show gonna take off from the events of Endgame, or is it gonna be
probably.
like a separate
More than likely.
storyline,
It's
pre-Endgame,
They have
pre-Infinity War?
They
Or
have to.
If Kevin Feige is saying that he wants the shows to also tie in a lot with the movies, I think these future shows are going to tie in, and you're probably going to get Bucky and Falcon as a buddy cop series.
Yeah, basically, I think it's
Yeah.
going to be very simple that somebody is going to call the police on Falcon and say he stole
Captain America shield.
He's around here calling himself Captain America. That's just going to happen.
We're gonna dive. I hate you.
I mean, it was technically stolen from the past, just not by him.
I mean, we
I
think with. I'm sorry. No, I think with Thor, we're gonna get him in Guardians.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he left with the Guardians.
Yeah.
Before we get Thor 4.
Are we gonna get a tease for the Asgardians of the Galaxy?
Probably. Chris Hemsworth says he wants to sign on to do. Said he wouldn't mind signing on to do more Thor movies.
Well,
He
after
signed-
Ragnarok, after
Yeah.
that new juice that he
Yeah,
got
exactly.
with the character, that's
Because
all
like-
him.
yeah.
That's all. He's funny. He's naturally funny.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
he signed a six movie contract after.
As long as they don't
Yeah.
rush
I
it, they
think it was
keep it
after
at a good
Endgame.
pace with
Really?
him, and
Yeah.
you know,
Was
at
it
least they
Infinity
give
War?
him
Was it
enough
Endgame?
time
No,
to
Endgame.
do
He
other
also
stuff
worked with the same
too.
director.
You know, like
Because
yeah,
everybody's
why not?
contract was pretty much up in limbo.
Right.
And it was like, you want to do it? Okay, here you go. New contract. You don't want to do it? Okay, have a good
I
life.
think they would do. I think they were doing that, like the secrets with the contract, so that this way fans didn't speculate who was coming
Who's
back or
gonna
not.
be-
Yeah, that makes sense.
But no, I mean we're gonna get that whole buddy. I think we're gonna get the Asgardians of the Galaxy, and the fact that they
That'd be
said
dope.
that we possibly may get Beta Ray Bill in
Thor 4.
Guardians.
Finally,
We might get him.
I feel like Star-Lord. Like finally.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be dope to keep, and I hope they keep Fat Thor. I want to see more.
Wanna see
Big
more Fat
Lebowski
Thor?
Yes,
Big
I-
Big
Well, he's
Lebowski. I
gotta
love
go
that.
back to like fit Thor. He's gonna
Eventually,
go back, yeah.
eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah, I guess you.
I think we're gonna see two. He's gonna be probably two Guardian movies, two Thor movies, and two
Mhm.
Avengers movies. That's kind of how I kind of piece it out. Two of each.
I'm looking forward to more Spider-Man movies. I'm even looking forward to
Well, this guy said he'll do 20 more if he can.
really.
Tom Holland, yeah.
Well, he's smart. That's his bread and butter right now, and I really think he's the best Spider-Man.
He is.
I really think he's the best Spider-Man overall. If they age him and they continue with it, I think he'd be a
Yeah.
really good Spider-Man. Honestly, I think he'll be like the face of the franchise, like Christopher Reeves was for Superman. I think he has that potential.
Is that
What are we
is
doing?
that who this guy was arguing
New
with?
Master was Loki. Yeah, I saw that.
It's Loki the whole time.
I think also what I'm looking forward to, hopefully, that they do is they expand the Spider Universe as well. Maybe they bring Miles Morales in. So it's going to have an interesting time because how are you going to continue the villain universe with Venom? Because Venom's dope, but you need some of the Marvel villains to continue it.
Doesn't
You need it, you know.
They could go
in
back and
Sony's
forth.
current
They
contract,
can
don't they need to
I
put
don't know
out
if they have that
one
contract,
Spider-Man
so-
movie on
All
their
the
part?
Spider-Man, huh?
Yeah, in order to maintain
Who?
the rights,
Sony.
they have
Sony?
to.
So we're gonna get a shitty Spider-Man movie.
Sony has all the Sony has the rights to all of the
All the
their
Spider-Man
villains.
properties.
Oh, yeah?
But they share some because if you notice, Marvel got to use Kingpin,
Yes.
Right.
and I
Because
think
Kingpin is part of Daredevil's world too.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, Daredevil shouldn't have been on there because he was originally from Spider-Man.
But I mean, I would like to see
Yeah.
Sony do more tie-in. Like if Sony's gonna build their own like type of universe and try to revolve around Spider-Man, I feel that they should also work with Marvel with this to help them with the
They're not.
planning. But yeah, we know that
They're not. They're not. They want to milk it for what it's worth, and it's going to be best. Well,
If
I'm hoping they prove me wrong.
if
It's gonna be
Sony can like play their cards right, I would let Sony distribute the film and let Marvel make it. That way they can still keep the property and then still keep making money off of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because like, why take that responsibility away from Marvel since they're doing so well with Spider-Man and then just come out with a shitty movie?
And they've done the best versions.
Right.
So we've had Spider-Man. So we've had Tom Holland play Spider-Man. How many more?
Three.
More times.
Four times.
Four
Four
times, right?
times.
4 times, yeah.
So that's a lot more times than Garfield, and that's one more time than Toby. And not taken away from Toby because
Civil
again,
War,
his third Spider-Man.
Endgame.
Put it this way, it was as good as the toilet paper in the toilet after you use
Oh
it.
my goodness! Oh my goodness! Anyway, let me step in because you go
Sorry.
on tangents.
One more thing. The one thing about that deal is that I think that Amy Pascal is no longer with Sony. So I mean, the deal. She was the middle person in between Sony and Marvel. So with her no longer being there, who knows what the next person is gonna do?
Okay.
Actually, she's with Universal now, so that could be a good thing for the Hulk situation. We don't know,
Right.
But It all depends on who's gonna take her spot. If somebody takes her spot who has a hard on against Marvel, then they can end up losing.
I feel like Marvel would do a loophole again thing too with Spider-Man, with the fact that he's played a role in the Avengers, is that they were probably writing him in that way, because they've kind of, if Sony is smart and they look at what the Avengers and Marvel has done, they've kind of, like you said, set up Spider-Man to be the next Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I would take cue in that and build my character, like the characters you own, off of that universe, and start throwing them in there.
And then maybe for future Avenger movies, do the new Avengers, bring in X-Men, bring in Wolverine for the Avengers, or Spider-Man for the
Yeah, 'cause
whatever.
If you play your cards right, you can bring in, because if you remember Spider-Man, a lot of the time Spider-Man is also known for having a lot of guest characters, which I think which helped Tom Holland Spider-Man. The fact that you had Tony Stark making those guest appearances.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk more a little bit about Far From Home. I don't want to see any more trailers. I love the way it's going. They kept the fact that Tony Stark's passing secret from us, right? And now they're showing trailers of how it impacts Tom Holland, Spider-Man. And I love the way that they're going about it. I love the fact that they're bringing Nick Fury. Like, you don't hang up on Nick Fury. And obviously the next scene is him, he put on the suit. You know what I'm saying? He not poison.
Well, someone has to fill in the, what is it, the role model or the father figure type of
Well, I think that's more
role.
going to be also happy.
Yeah,
in a way.
happy.
Yeah.
It's happy is still
I
there.
think because Iron Man did both. He did a good job doing both. But now you got the superhero life, which is Nick Fury, helping him out. Whereas you have the be at home, happy Hogan type of character, like to console and let him know, he said it in the trailer. Tony would not have done what he was gonna do if he didn't know he was gonna come back.
Happy Hogan's doing whatever you got to do to smash it.
I'm just glad he's actually getting some more screen time.
Yeah.
Even if it's in a comedic sort of form, but still, I'm
At
glad.
least he got it,
I'm,
right.
I'm happy that he's in there, at least part of it now, officially.
I do the same thing.
I love the fact that they brought Mysterio in, because I feel like Spider-Man movies actually develop the villains a lot. Like there's like who didn't love the Vulture? All right, that's a jab, but who didn't love the Vulture though?
The Vulture was dope.
It
Vulture of
it
all
was a
people.
better
He's a
Vulture
seamless
than what I
villain.
think
Right.
they would have gonna go with
Yes.
Toby. To be honest,
Oh God, yeah. Well,
I mean,
the
not-
Vulture was going to be Felicia Hardy.
not-
in Spider-Man 4.
Who?
Spider-Man 4.
In Spider-Man 4, if they continue with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man,
I read
Felicia
that it was gonna
Hardy.
be John Malkovich as
No,
the
I-
Vulture,
I heard rumors or that.
which
at
I
one
wouldn't have
point-
minded. I
No, I
thought
would.
I thought that would have
Yeah.
been interesting, but not to say that Michael Keaton didn't do a really bad job as the Vulture as well.
Great job.
I
And
think-
they kept the secret.
But the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, the Spider-Man, if they had done Spider-Man 4,
Hmm.
they were going to, I think, do Felicia Hardy as the Vulture.
That's the first time I hear about that. I always read John Malkovich's name attached to the Vulture
I'm glad
project.
That universe doesn't exist anymore.
It does. It does somewhere.
It does somewhere. Wow. There's so much going on. I mean, do we have any other predictions and theories right now?
I do have one complaint.
Yes, one complaint.
I always have a complaint.
So Tony got his funeral, right?
Yeah.
No funeral for Black Widow. If it wasn't for her, no Soul Stone.
They had a funeral for her.
No, they
They did. They had a funeral for her.
When they came back partially,
Yeah.
you
There was no big funeral, is what you're saying? I got
Yeah.
you. I mean, Hulk did throw a bench.
I was just
Okay.
about to bring that up.
Okay, although it was fluid and it did go far, I kind of felt like that bench throw was weak. I'm just saying, I feel like
Well,
the other Hulk would have thrown it further.
isn't Professor Hulk like the least weakest of the Hulk
Yeah, he is.
incarnations?
He's the weakest. He's the weakest. But still, it's the Hulk. Like, he held up a whole facility.
Yeah.
Can't throw a bench? Like, that's like me.
Well,
he
he may throw a bench, but who knows where that bench is gonna land on?
That's true too.
Maybe some dad's cooking his barbecue. It's like, hey son, dinner's almost ready. Oh shit.
Oh man, I'm
And I
glad
don't
I
know
came
if that
back
was-
from that snap.
So, how long do you think until we get X-Men?
I would say give like another 3 or 4 movies.
Yeah.
Really? Even after Dark Phoenix?
Yes. Yes,
Feige
because to be
said-
honest, I have this impression that no one is even going to care about Dark Phoenix even now as the trailer's coming out. I don't
Sorry,
think
Sophie.
I don't think a lot of people
I still wanna
are
see it, though.
I'm just gonna say it.
I'm gonna see it. Just
I stopped seeing this incarnation of X-Men since Days of Future Past. After that, it was just nothing for me. It just went downhill for me.
I can't. For Days of Future Past was kind of like
It
that
was.
bar.
It was like
It was
the
that
for me. It
bar.
was the pinnacle X-Men movie,
Yeah.
and then it just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Logan is arguably one of the best.
One of the best
One of the
X-Men
best.
movies.
Not
And
even just
Deadpool.
X-Men. One of the best comic movies of all time.
Yeah.
I kind of want it because they said they don't want to touch anything with Deadpool, like mess up with whatever they were doing because they like what's being done with Deadpool. I wonder if they're going to use this in a way to try to write Deadpool into the Marvel universe.
Probably. I mean, it's a.
I
I mean, everyone's fired except Reynolds.
He's the
I
easiest
would-
person
yeah.
to write in.
But I would build the X-Men off of the Deadpool universe because whenever we've gotten a mutant character shown in Deadpool,
Yeah.
they look more closer to the comics than they did in the X-Men movies. Like, look at Colossus, look at the Juggernaut. Oh
Mhm.
man, the Juggernaut. I was happy with that one. That shit was funny though. But yeah, I would want to see them introduce the X-Men in secret because Kevin was like, yeah, we're not going to get the movies until like maybe 5 years later because they're not focused on the X-Men.
Right.
movies.
Okay. What about the Fantastic Four?
Oh, wait.
Also, I
Wait,
think
before we get on to that, I'm sorry. Did you see the rumor about like they're looking to cast Henry Cavill as probably Wolverine?
I
nah,
heard Cyclops.
nah.
Yeah.
I
heard
heard
Cyclops.
Wolverine. I read somewhere.
Yo, shout out to
Super
Henry,
Wolverine.
only because you know what, I think it's pretty much like we liked him for Superman. I think he was the Superman until they fired him. Then he wasn't. T is upset because he took a shot at
Wait,
him.
he didn't see it yet. I don't want to. He didn't see it yet.
What?
Oh,
What?
never
Yeah,
mind.
he didn't see it. I was trying to cut you off. I thought where
Yeah,
you going.
yeah.
But I was gonna say, no, you can ruin it for me. I'm
you
still
sure?
gonna see it. Yeah,
So
Okay.
at the end of Shazam,
they show Superman.
they show Superman, but they don't show his face.
And it was like, if I'm Henry Cavill at that point,
Yeah.
it's like that's like a slap in the face. You know. It's
Well,
like,
they originally wanted him for the movie, but I think he turned it down or something like that.
No, he
I
wanted,
don't- I-
he
I-
wanted to move it back because he was like, "Can you guys,
Oh,
can
yeah.
you guys move it up or move it back?"
There
And
was
they were
a
like,
there was
"No."
a scheduling conflict.
Yeah.
And then I believe it was he wasn't going to be in the movie anymore. He was just going to be.
I don't think-
Think about this.
I don't
He
think-
wants to go to a movie that they could CGI a mustache better on him. So
They did in
don't show the
DVDs.
face unless you want to put a mustache on the S.
That was their solution to fixing his mustache.
My thing with that is I didn't think it was needed, the Superman cameo, even if they didn't show his face. But you're right. I think that's like WB. It doesn't seem like a DC. It seems like a WB way of saying, like, "Oh, well, then fuck you."
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I'm him, the first thing what I would do is I would like to be cast in the Rivals movie. And
Yeah.
cast me as Cyclops, cast me as Wolverine, cast me as Professor
Hyperion.
Charles Xavier. I don't
Right,
care.
Professor
Hyperion.
Hyperion. Oh Jesus, cast me as
oh
something else.
no! Cast him as Sentry,
Or
Ooh.
Sentry.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
and that'll be yeah. They-
That's what I'm saying, like,
Or
shout
cast
out
him
to
as
always keeping him playing.
one of you guys said it before. Captain Britain,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wears a mask, technically.
right? Isn't there Captain
Yeah,
Britain?
yeah,
Captain
yeah,
Britain.
yeah, yeah. We'll see.
He may be in Spider-Man, I think, because was he referenced in Spider-Man or something like that?
I don't
In one of the trailers or
I
something?
didn't
don't
see
think
that.
it is.
I
I
don't think it
don't
is.
think it's
I don't
because
think
Captain Britain is an X-Men property.
Right.
Anyway.
But I thought he mentioned. All right, so
They're gonna be in
Mysterio
Europe.
mentioned World
UK.
813 or something like that.
No, didn't he say 616?
No, they said that the Marvel universe that they're in is 616.
Yeah.
Okay, what am I thinking? 813.
But
I don't know what
Captain Britain too is another character that does deal with the multiverse. A lot of people don't know it because you
Yeah.
got the Captain Britain courts.
The brigade or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
they're like
yeah.
different Captain Britons from the
Different
multiverse.
timelines.
Yeah.
Which would be dope because then if they introduce that, then they also introduce the idea with Fantastic Four, the Council of Reeds, which are all the Reed Richards from different multiverses, which is dope. And then you could also bring back the that one guy who's like, I forgot his name. How do I forget names now? But the evil Reed Richards, pretty much, who's on 616 right now. I'll have to look it up, but that'd be dope. I think within 2.5 to maybe 3 years we'll get Fantastic Four.
And they're rebuilding that Stark Tower. It was in the Iron Man, the Captain.
I think
Spider-Man.
I think when Marvel drops their first Phase 4 movie, I mean, actually, the Spider-Man's is giving us an idea now that they're gonna deal with the multiverse. But when they drop that that Phase 4 movie, we're gonna get an idea.
The
of
Maker.
where they're going.
Boom.
Maker. Where they have a big idea where they're going with their movies.
All right, so I think it's pretty much safe to say that we're all happy with Marvel's direction right now.
Do we want?
Granted, Fernando has complaints.
Always has complaints. Fernando the complainer.
Now get off my lawn!
Do you guys think Captain America? Do you think we're ever going to get Hydra Cap? 'Cause with this idea of the multiverse, can you imagine them bringing Cap back?
So here's my
Right, and then he bring him from a different world. He's not our Cap, but he's from Cap from a different universe. And then we think he is Captain America,
I don't think
like
we're
a
gonna-
good Cap.
because
and
it
then they
didn't-
make him the villain of a 2 or 3 movies.
because it didn't do well in the comics and so many people complain. I don't think they're gonna do it for the movies.
I love that. I love
They
it.
teased
So
it.
I love
They teased it in that moment, in that
moment,
scene,
just to
but-
give a nod to the
I
comics.
was-
Yeah,
But
I
that's
think-
just about it.
I think that's a last minute thing. Like if 8 years down the line, comics are starting to dip and nobody's really interested, then they'll bring it back. And then they'll also bring up the Cosmic Cube. You know,
I think they're gonna forget about that moment.
Like-
They want to erase that in Captain America's history. 'Cause
we still got like Doom. To worry
retailers
about,
complain
you know?
about it.
Who's it selling?
Yeah,
But-
Doctor Doom.
But I absolutely love that storyline. I absolutely
Because it
loved
brings up valid points. It's like Civil War in a sense, but it's different. But then also too, there's a lot of politics.
Yeah.
So in movies, comics can do politics. Movies, not so much.
In an alternate timeline show.
What
yeah.
about comics? Let me say that.
We may get it as an animated show because the What If show.
Yeah.
I don't think
But I
it's
don't think it's
going
gonna
to
be the MCU.
I think it's a last minute thing. All right, I want to give a big shout out to Tessa and the MIB. Shout out to Will. He's going to be in Aladdin. He's going to be in Gemini Man, and he's also going to be Spies Like Us, something like that with Tom Holland. Animated. Shout out to Tom Holland for securing that bag. Y'all look at me like I'm crazy. I'm not gonna go see The Lion King because they don't have Be Prepared. John Wick is coming out. Is anybody gonna see that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
WikiLeaks.
Of course.
You know WikiLeaks it? I don't know. I've been hearing really good reviews
No,
about it.
I think John Wick is gonna. I mean, we've gotten 2 solid movies, and I think Keanu Reeves says that if depending on where it goes and if they want him, they'll do John Wick 4. But I think that this whole universe that they created in John Wick is probably one of the better cinema universes that they've created, and I feel like they can even dig even deeper now.
Remember when he was Constantine?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And that's technically a Marvel property.
No.
No, DC.
Is DC?
DC?
I'm fucking. You're right. I fall back.
Ooh.
Boo
Although,
this man.
although they talk about Constantine's probably going to get a show again because with what the actor who had done the show at
and the
NBC,
network.
and then the network canceled it, but
Yeah.
then he's now on Legends of Tomorrow, and then I think it would be good to bring him up. Plus, also too, they got to fill in that.
Have you
Arrow
guys
spot.
seen the Constantine? What was it? City of the Dead, or was it Angel?
coming out.
City of Angels? The
The
animated?
animated.
No, I haven't seen
I
it.
downloaded it.
I saw the
didn't watch it.
Is that the
beginning.
one
I
with the
didn't-
Justice League, but then like
No.
he has Batman
No,
and
it's not
Zatanna?
Justice-
No,
the Dark
it's-
Justice League?
That's Justice
That's-
League Dark.
Okay.
This one is just a standalone Constantine
I didn't see that
animated.
one.
Yeah,
I didn't see that one.
I gotta watch
Didn't
that.
they originally want to bring a Justice League Dark movie too?
yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
I wonder why they didn't do that.
They're just throwing darts
See
at the
the
Oh, I remember that slate they released.
I heard about that with Guillermo del Toro directing, which I thought would be good
Yeah.
because since I love Guillermo del Toro anyway, so.
They
But
did-
we'll see.
This was just them throwing a bunch of stuff like, yeah, look, we're like Marvel too. Look at our stuff.
Eh.
You hear that,
I hate
Warner's?
that Warner Brothers just. And then again, it's nothing against DC fans or DC stuff because I mean, Batman's been one of my favorite heroes.
Besides Wonder Woman, what is
Like-
DC coming out with this year?
Like the way their
No,
bosses
no,
tell their
no,
employees,
hey.
you hear that, Warner? Stop your shit.
Suicide Squad
Really?
2.
Oh, Suicide Squad Joker.
Yeah,
Joker
Suicide
is-
Squad is Joker.
Birds of Prey.
Okay, okay.
Birds of Prey really moving though, or is that just they said it? Because they said a lot.
No.
Technically, Green Lantern's coming out next year,
It's
right?
It's moving.
Yeah.
It's gonna be made.
I'm looking forward to Joker. You guys already know. If this hits out the box, DC has a great road ahead of them. All they got to do is villains that they can develop great, and that's it. You don't need a superhero.
But it's not gonna tie in with anything. That's the whole thing.
That's
too.
fine.
I mean, it's
Multiverse
fine.
theory.
It's perfect. I understand they want to do the whole multiverse, but this is they
don't have a good solid base.
They don't have a good solid base because it's like you introduced the Joker. Where's the Joker without Batman? You don't have a Batman right now. You've technically lost your Batman.
To retirement.
The only way I can see them tying this movie in with the Ben Affleck version is if Joaquin Phoenix is the first incarnation of the Joker.
Oh,
Well,
that's
he has
dope
a
too.
kid with ZZ Bates, which turns out to be what's his face, the latest one,
Joker
Damage
Jr.?
Joker. Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna. No, it's gonna be completely separate from Ben
Well,
Affleck.
technically, at one point there was 4 Jokers. Was it 4 or 3 Jokers? 3 Jokers.
4.
4.
That was-
I was 4, right?
That was
Okay.
with the current like timeline with whatever it is with the Watchmen.
So then they
thing
can
and all
kind
that.
of they can kind of do that.
Yeah, but
We-
you can't
we
you
need
can't
it
come
back.
out the gate doing that.
Yeah.
I
You
mean-
can't come out the gate.
They've already confused the fans enough as it is because
I think it's doable because it's only one universe and it's only set around this. They can always come back and develop.
but
that
then they would have
universe.
to introduce that concept that the Watchmen is a part of it.
They can do that in other universes and other movies.
Well,
I
aren't
think
they now
personally-
bringing all those together in one universe with,
I
with
have
Doomsday
no
Clock
clue.
and all?
With the
supposedly.
comics, yeah, but I feel like with the
Imagine they tie it
movies,
into the Chris Nolan one. That would be crazy. Like Joaquin Phoenix was Heath Ledger's dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
A nice little serious speech would make a
Or
lot
no, not
more
even.
sense. I'm like, holy
What if that is Heath Ledger? Before, yeah. What if that's Heath Ledger this whole time?
Okay, that'd be dope.
But that's still the Nolan verse.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's its own universe.
Yeah.
Like what he was saying.
So
Like
that
why
works.
couldn't they just started
No
off
Joker
from,
that
from there?
works.
You could have
Much
really
respect to
built
Jack
off
Nicholson.
of that
Yeah.
Nolan verse, and obviously, you didn't have to lead in with Bruce Wayne as that current Batman because that went to the Robin in
Yeah.
that universe, and then you can always like introduce Batman.
I mean,
again.
all of this is like a big injustice sort of type of, alternate universe.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's all these little things
You know
happening.
where they did it well, explaining the multiverse for DC, was in the WB shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The CW shows,
Mhm.
Oh my God.
they're perfect.
Like when Superman was like a broad tee and a skinny tee, you know what I'm saying? Like he had a broad chest. He was like this big. Batman too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Watch. This is what's gonna happen with DC. This is my prediction for DC.
Uh oh.
They teased it with the games a little bit.
Mhm.
They're gonna do a DC somehow mixing with Mortal Kombat. That would be hilarious. I will die laughing.
I was with you.
We're all with you for a moment.
That would be amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the Kevin Smith in you talking, right?
Shoot.
No, I mean, go ahead, Mike.
No. I was gonna get off the topic, but then.
I mean, in the past, I wanted DC to do well, but again, with Warner Brothers, with all these decisions, they don't know what they want to do. So I'm just going to tell people, don't expect them to do a shared universe thing right now, because it's like, I don't think they know what they want to do.
I think they
They
should.
just want to release characters,
Mhm.
see what sticks, see what fans like, and then build off of that property, and then milk the fuck out of it.
Which is crazy because their DC Universe TV series is doing pretty good,
Yeah.
right? Which is it's interesting. Anyway, I think if we were to reboot DC Universe, the movie universe, what they need to do is introduce a multiverse theory, like Final Crisis,
But
something like that, but make their own turn of it, and then just have the movies explain. I mean, it's a Marvel
Well,
effect
that-
in a sense.
it-
Marvel already did it, but I think that's the best way.
I think the best way to go about that is finally put out a Flash movie that teases that.
There you go.
Because
Well-
we didn't really get anything from the Flash, even with this Justice League
Right.
overall.
Well, what they should have done is
We
that-
got it in Batman v Superman. Sorry, we got it in Batman v Superman.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
when he came back, yes,
Right, which was the tease of something that Zach had planned for the long haul until
will never come
until WB was just like, nope. But if you put out a Flash movie, if you actually put out a Flash movie and maybe tease the possibility of time travel and multiverse, that could work, and just take it from there.
What they would have had to do is this, and I like that idea. What they would have had to do is like each individual Justice League character, I felt like you would have had to do their own solo movie, and then with the Flash, you introduce that concept of time travel in Flash 2, in a sequel with the
Mhm.
Flash,
Mm.
so that this way we start to get that you sow the seeds in there. It's like you don't open up. First of all, you don't feed the baby steak. You feed the baby applesauce. That's what all these origins are. They're applesauce for the fans. As you gradually start to like upgrade to harder food, then now you start bringing in.
But I
steak.
mean,
You
with,
can
with
puree a
this,
steak, though.
would this be an
I'm
origin?
not talking about pureeing the steak, Mike. Stop
But-
being technical here.
My baby's gonna be fat.
But I mean, would this even be an origin story? But at this point, if they were to go after the, if they were to continue after the events of Justice League or
Why don't
whatnot,
they can
have
start
to.
off at the
I
present,
think
work
they have
back,
to.
and then go to the future. I love this idea.
I think because
What
again,
a big risk and gamble.
it will work for the fans. for the fanboys. But if you notice, the reason why Marvel's making all this big money, and again, this is how we're going to get new stuff made, is for these companies to make this big money. You also need to hook in the casual fan too. You need to still appease the fans, but you need
I feel like
a way to bring in those casual fans. I don't know.
I feel like it'll work because it's something new.
They depended too much on lore, and look what happened.
Yeah, but this is something different. They can still take their own.
We got a clusterfuck of a movie.
I'm not denying that. Sorry, T. But like, I believe it's something new. If they get really good writers, you know, like I said, trash everybody in that office, including the trash man. You know what I'm saying? And just like move forward, they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. I think they can do it. And you know what?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Right. I mean, some of the movies they've been releasing have been hitting good high notes, the solo movies, but we'll see.
Let's end on a good note, or a high energy note, if you will. Let's
Game of
talk
Thrones?
about. Yeah, actually, let's talk about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I've been watching this all the seasons, right? We'll keep it spoiler free for adults.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you know,
I still feel like
I've been watching How to Train Your Dragon.
This is not the same. There's no toothless here.
Definitely not a toothless.
Oh,
Trogdor, the Burninator.
I think if you're listening to us and you watch Game of Thrones, you're probably in like a daze right now. There are a lot of people who weren't happy with this season so far.
I love it.
I love it.
We covered
There's a lot
it
of
in Nerds of the Round,
symbolism.
too.
There's a lot of symbolism. Like on the way in the car, we were talking about the latest episode in which Arya gets on the white horse. And it hasn't been confirmed from the writers. That's who I'm waiting for. Although I'll accept it, it's supposedly the white horse of death. And if anybody's been following the show, you know her relationship with death.
Yeah.
It's an on and off thing, if you will.
She has seen the many faces of death.
Right. And I was like, why don't she just shadow walk out the place like she did before, you know, for the Night King?
She is the many-faced god.
So, obviously, we haven't seen what happened after Daenerys decided to Dracarys everybody.
She had the biggest cookout.
Right. But nobody else
Anybody.
was invited except her. Right.
They was invited, right?
It was invited to Burger.
They was invited.
What are your thoughts and predictions for the next? Well, we got 2 episodes left.
One.
Jeez. Oh, I am not ready.
Everyone dies.
Oh. I mean, that's the safe one.
I
Wait,
will have to say. Go
sorry,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you go first.
One of you go.
All right, so before we go to predictions,
Okay.
why do you think she did what she did, and do you agree with what she did?
Can I say that? Can I say it? Can I
Yeah.
take this? Because
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
saying, we've been covering this on Nerds and Around, and I've been saying this with every recap episode that, you know, the cracks were there. First of all,
Yes.
if
Reach.
you look at Dany, I mean, obviously we look at past seasons and all that, her character. I was looking at stuff recently where in season, at the end of season 6, she had this whole army. She had the Sand Snakes with her. She had Highgarden. She had everybody with her. She was coming to Westeros.
Yeah.
She gets to Westeros. They lose Highgarden. They lose the Sand Snakes. She loses She loses her version of the Iron Fleet.
Yeah.
So she's already lost 3 things there. Then she loses one of her dragons to the Night King. So she's already losing stuff. So then she loses Ser Jorah, who dies, which has been her, like, you know, one of her moral points. She sees that the people don't love her, which leads to that line when she tells Jon, you know, everyone loves you here, but no one loves me here. So again, that's another thing. She loses her second dragon. She loses half of her army to the Night King, because when she shows up at this point outside of the castle, look how small her army was right there.
15 people.
And
Like,
there was still Dothraki, like
so,
11 of them.
Yeah, look at look what was left in the zone and all that.
Like 15 of them out there, like,
What up, man?
Melissa,
We still here. We got these horses.
Say the name for me because I'm about to mispronounce it. She loses her friend.
got your hands
Missandei.
Missandei. She loses Missandei.
Like, which one? Because they're all her friends.
and then the fact that she was betrayed by Varys, which again she equated that to Jon betraying her.
Yep.
When it was like, no, Varys, like, and how did Varys know? From you. How did you know? Sansa. How did Sansa know? Jon told Jon not to tell her. Jon betrayed me. This chick is going crazy at this moment.
To be
but
fair,
she's valid. Her points are valid.
Wait.
And then wait.
To be fair, I just want to say, Jon never said he wasn't going to tell her.
No, he did, but she kept saying this. She said, "Listen, I."
He
told
never
you how
agreed.
He never agreed.
He never agreed. That's what I'm saying.
Agreed. But understand, she knew Sansa, and she told him Sansa is like the new Littlefinger.
I got
she
you.
goes, Sansa told you. What do you think Sansa told
Yeah,
you?
the
Tyrion?"
game from this is the first time that for me, she's like thinking tactically.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is, she's going crazy because I'm gonna let you finish. But she's going crazy because that's a reach. She said, "Don't tell." He didn't say, "I'm not gonna tell."
That's
But I
not
mean,
the
again,
point, though.
but that's not the point. Again, I understand.
You can't blame somebody that didn't agree to your terms.
No, this is what her. It's not blaming. It's her frame of thought right now.
Because she's
She's
crazy.
going crazy. Yes, like they said, if you listen to the beginning of the recap, and every time they said it, when you flip the coin to
It's
the side of
always-
the Targaryen,
Yeah,
when
when it's Targaryen born, it's always a flip a coin.
Again, this is just some of the stuff that's playing in her head already. And
Yeah.
then the minute that the bells rang, that she realized she won, she's looking at this castle. I don't know if people pay attention. She's staring at this castle.
Mhm.
She's staring at this place of this land of people that don't love her. That don't love her compared to when she was, because it's different from when she was in Marine.
Yeah.
Like she even pointed that out. Like, oh, the slaves fought in Marine and rose against the masters. That's her whole thought. She sees this as a place of misery for her. It's been nothing but a place of misery, and she just, and that was it. Snap.
I think
And she was like, you know what? We're gonna have barbecue chicken tonight, Dracarys.
I feel like she did what she did to make a point, and also to let out some steam because she is going crazy.
She's
For
the Mad
sure.
Queen.
Because she won. The bells rang. People were screaming out for surrender, and they rang the bells. But it's like, no, I want to burn everything you thought you had. I want to burn everything to the ground. And she even said,
See, I don't.
in fear.
I don't. See, I saw it differently.
Okay.
I saw it different. I saw it as when, what was her friend who got beheaded?
Missandei.
Yeah, you said it. When she got her head, before she got her head chopped off, what did she say? She said,
Dracarys.
"Burn this place down to the ground."
That is true.
She said, "I hate Mondays."
Burn it, burn it down.
Yes, she
and
did.
then right after that, she finds out that the stuff with Varys,
Yeah.
and then she with what's the dwarf name?
It's like Tyrion.
Tyrion goes, the bell. Are you trying to save your sister? You let your brother go.
Mm-hmm.
You let your brother go. Are you trying to save your sister? I don't trust you anymore. I don't trust you. I can't trust John because I told John what was going to happen. And he did it anyway. He never agreed to the term, but the fact is that I said this is going to happen, and this is exactly what happened. You didn't trust me, right? You decided to trust your family, and this is what happened. So I think when she was on the dragon, and that she heard the bell ring.
So many things.
She heard the bell ring. It wasn't like, I honestly don't think she went up there with the intent to burn
No,
everything
I don't
down.
think that was her intention. But she
when
snapped.
she heard the bell, I think it was, okay, they're surrendering. I'm going to make sure they're going to surrender.
But no,
Actually,
she.
I would argue against that point. I would dare say she came to burn everything down.
I don't think
Here's
so.
why. Here's why.
Look at her face when it
I
happened.
understand. No. I'm definitely not saying it definitely clicked more for her, but I felt like she came preparing to like burn everything down because although they were pleading with her to wait until the bell rings or whatever, the fight had already started. She had burned down multiple bow and arrows, multiple fleet ships, multiple soldiers in the making. Like she was already like, I'm gonna have to burn everything down. And then it was
Which
like
is fine. Which is fine.
But she was still in that, that kind of like rage. She was in like the Hulk, the Thor, the Wolverine rage. And then she had the moment where she calmed down. She definitely had that moment, and then she was like, you know what?
The bell, she was calm, and then the bell rang.
I felt like she
It was
calmed
something-
down,
it
and then
was
she was like, you know
something-
what? Nah.
You
Turn
gotta give it up
back
to a
on.
minute.
I'm like, it was,
If Tyrion never told her about the bell, Tyrion, if he never told her about the bell, I think she would have been completely fine. She did that because of what he said to her.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think because she thought about it tactfully. She's like, you know what? I don't want to be loved anymore. I want to be feared. And
Well,
since
that
I was
goes
coming-
back to what she told John.
Right. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Fear
and,
it is.
and then it clicked for her. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna burn everything down and make them fear me. I'm gonna
And
burn
this,
everything
and,
that they
and,
built.
and just
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm
so
sorry.
it's just a whole thing. I'm like, it reminded me of like the whole Angela Bassett scene from Waiting to Exhale. She was like,
my
fuck this shit. I want to set everything on fire. I'm like, I want to let this shit. I want to walk away. Fuck everybody.
But I think she gave before that scene. I think she was at this point too. And then again, I know some people go, "Oh, that's just they're making her look weak because it's a man again." No, I think in her confirmation, when she was speaking to John that last time, she's like, "What am I to you? Am I just your queen?" And she was looking for that note of love from someone because she wasn't feeling that love. And then when he backed off, she's like, "Then fear it is."
Right.
And again, everything that's happened to this girl and again, Emilia Clarke did an excellent performance. Everything I felt when that bell was ringing, all that rage that she has felt, all that stuff that's happened to her, especially in this land, everything since birth with people betraying her and all that, that all came back, and I think she equated that place as misery. I'm going to burn it to the ground. I'm going to burn it to the
problems, right?
Yeah, but again, I think that goes back to the betrayal, like the final betrayal. Before I came here, I just like everybody who I rock with, other than Grey Worm, is dead, and then the only people that's standing by my side are people that betrayed me. This bell is a sign of people who are betraying me,
except for Grey Worm.
Grey Worm was.
Grey Worm was in his element.
He was like, oh wait, it's another day at the office. Boop, let's go.
Especially.
But it's
Jon Snow and him are gonna have a fight, I believe. Or
I would like to see that. But
oh yeah, remember when he was
when he killed
he started killing the civilians and Jon was like, hold back. He was like, bitch, what? All right, cool. Make note of that. You know, he was already giving him the stare down in the chambers. Remember?
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying, either him or Arya. I can't. Who else could take on Grey Worm? Grey Worm is no slouch.
You're making it sound as if Arya or Jon is gonna live, man.
You're right. I don't know, but
I think Arya has one more person
Arya,
to assassinate on the show, and I don't think it's going to be the Queen. I think it's someone unexpected. The theory.
I don't think she's gonna assassinate the Queen.
No,
I can't imagine.
I think she might try. I don't know if she's gonna.
My God. I cannot imagine her dying. That's the thing. I can't imagine.
I know.
Like,
I think she's.
left.
I think she. No, no. I think she's. I think Arya has fully left King's Landing.
For good?
No, she's not abandoning her family.
No,
no,
because she's. I think she's left King. Because I'm thinking about this, and this is just theory, and I know a lot of people are probably gonna be like, I don't think that's gonna happen. Again, I think that she may end up killing Sansa in some form of way.
Ooh.
And I know that would piss off a lot of people, but also too, it's like it goes back into the seeds of.
I just want to watch.
It's gonna listen. At the end of the day, I think they put something good together. It's not gonna give everyone what they wanted to think that they wanted to happen. That's the problem with fandoms.
Yeah.
It didn't play out to what people's fan theories want.
Yeah.
What they want. There's these bunch of baby dragons that are going to come and help her take over the city. No, we didn't get that. Oh, she's going to sit on the throne and forgive everybody. No, we didn't get that either. I go the worst way, though, and I was making fun of my homie. Shout out to my co-host, Tony, from Nerds at Around. The worst way they can end this series is if they do a Soprano ending where you have an army with Jon Snow on one side with one army, and one army on one side with Daenerys right here, and then they cut to black.
Like Angel. Remember they ended Angel like that too?
They're not doing that.
That's the way you piss off fans if you did that.
I remember watching that
shitty writing.
ending was like
and Sopranos.
And Soprano. I remember just like, this sucks.
But I think that it's because we're getting some finale. I was disappointed with the Lannister deaths. I think that was pretty weak, but again, it's not my way to write it or anything like that. They died. I like the cracking of Cersei because her character kind of cracked at the end, which is something that everybody's like, but she's this powerful character. She did no, she lost everything. She lost her kids. She lost her power. She lost it all, and then the last thing that she cared about was Jaime. He was there, but it's like. She was cracking at the scenes of what she saw was happening.
He was technically dying. He's been stabbed multiple times because even if he survived, that's a colostomy bag.
Well, I think she was genuinely happy to see him, but it's just that the loss of everything that's going on there.
I feel you. Listen, she lost her bodyguard when the Hound fought the mountain, and then she was just looking at him like, "You're not gonna kill me as I go past these steps, right? All right, cool. I'm gonna let y'all do your thing. Bye."
She was like, "All right."
She's just like, "I'm gonna skip the fuck out of here."
Right.
These are two big motherfuckers.
As the episodes go on, I'm heartbroken at how we're losing the characters. Like, some of them I'm not really heartbroken of because they were bastards. But some of them, like, even Melisandre, like, I don't... What did she go to Easteros for? Like, what did she do? What did she... whatever. I wanted a little bit more explanation on that.
Who?
Melisandre.
Oh, gotcha.
The one who knew about Varys.
And when she walked away, when she walked out and died. And then...
she's just like... All right,
well,
her purpose is
complete.
complete.
Purpose, yeah.
Right, but like I felt like she went back to get something. You know what I'm saying?
No, she was there because she was promised someone that she had to be there for, which was Jon Snow.
Yeah.
She thought at this whole time that it was Robert Baratheon. But no, it was Jon Snow's army that she was supposed to be
Right,
there.
right.
She lit up the swords to help the Dothraki, and she told this guy, what's his face, that by daylight I'm going to be dead. By dawn, and
Yeah.
because again, army survives,
Davos.
and she told Davos, Sir Davos, MVP for staying alive, Sir Davos.
Facts.
Yeah.
But yeah, she
I don't know,
she fulfilled
because,
her
like,
purpose.
When she lit up the swords, and they all charged,
And
and
it's
then they just got snuffed out.
How did you feel about that scene? That
I
scene
was-
was
It was way too dark. I had to turn it up the consciousness so I could see. I'm like,
your TV
who are they
sucks.
fighting?
Your TV sucks.
You know, I was fine.
But wait.
I
they
watched
literally,
it- I was
they
watching
literally
it dark.
told how to watch that whole episode by lighting up your TV. They told them away how bright it needs to be for you to see. But yeah,
I was fine. I was.
But wait,
Everything was dark.
but think about that. In this moment, let's say you're one of those troops. You're seeing the Dothraki run off. You've heard the stories about the Dothraki hollers.
How they're.
How they're crazy. And then all you see is the flames in the distance. And then you're seeing them go out quick.
Yep.
How do you deal with that emotion?
Oh, if I'm there, if I'm like somebody
it's
on
pitch
the,
black,
oh
like
no,
they-
no, I'm gonna be like, yo, I got my sword, damn it!
I have the wrong boots. My bad. These are not snow boots. Sorry. I'll be right back.
it was pitch black, and no matter what they do, they couldn't light up the sky or whatever. I'm trying to find that guy's name. But go ahead.
I mean, I remember it was AwesomeCon weekend. We rushed back to the hotel to go see it, and we get this opening scene. And the minute I'm seeing it, I'm like, oh yeah, the Dothraki are riding. We're gonna get something. We're gonna get something. But I was like, I know there's gonna be some dead like, people are gonna die or something. But just how quick it happened, because you've seen the Dothraki plow through everybody. But after when they ran in, and then that first giant was there because it lit up really quick, and there was like a giant right there. And then
As
the
soon as
guy
they
you
got
saw
to
his
the
face.
face.
It's like, holy! Then you just start seeing the flames get snuffed. I was like, that was quick. I was like, it just set the whole mood for that episode for me.
That was one of the scariest episodes I think I've seen. Just from a just how, just everybody's gonna like who's gonna die, like, who's gonna die. This like Theon was probably my favorite character. So he went out the way he went out. That was I was like,
He had the best arc.
He had the best
he
arc.
did. He had the
And
best.
It was I absolutely love his arc.
It was definitely an arc of redemption in the way
Yes. He went out, Bran saying, you deserve to be here, or you're a great man. No, he said you're a great man, and he went out and died the way he did. But,
And I know what I wanted though. The only thing I really wanted from that episode was fights with the generals. I would have appreciated that.
Yeah.
They were kind of wasted. People were like, "Oh, well, I wanted to see their dead homies come up and then fight their dead homies." Get emotional. I'm like, if you see how these wraiths are fighting, they're not fight. They're like they attack in packs like zombies. So
Yeah,
you're
it's
not going
not
to
like-
get that type of
Yeah, it's
emotional
not like
fight.
they still remember their skills when they were alive. And
Yeah.
they're Dothraki again. No, not really. They're just
Yeah,
dead
they're just-
dudes.
Exactly.
So you're not. So I didn't care for that. The guy who was the leader of that band, the Sons and all that they resurrected, he couldn't be resurrected anymore. That was kind of a little bit of a sad death.
Yeah.
It was like, he
He's
used his
finally
body
his
to
purpose.
survive. Yeah.
Arya.
But yeah, the little girl, what's her face? I'm not remembering names right now. Lady Mormont.
She went out like a G.
Yep.
She went out like a G. Smallest person take out the biggest person.
And she
so.
took out that giant the same spot where the first giant died.
Oh, I didn't
In the
notice
Battle of the
that.
Bastards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exact same spot.
Because I'm not gonna lie though, I kind of laughed when that giant first came in and swatted her.
I was like, wow, that was quick. It's like, Jesus.
She was like, ah, yeah.
Broken arm and everything. But yeah, a lot of people point out it was really dumb, and that theory came into play when they're like, oh, he's gonna raise the dead in the crypt. That theory came into play.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
But I kind of like the fact that the last episode too, we had nice send-offs to give the fans something like Tormund. Like, we're gonna wait for the spin-off with Tormund and Ghost. And we got to see Sam kind of retire too.
that was
he
nice.
he still knows how to use it. Talking about Sam, gonna be a daddy.
Oh, I mean, at the same time, I'm still mad that Jorah is an MVP of all time. He literally beat, I don't know if you want to call it mystical AIDS, like skin cancer. Okay, whatever. He beat that. You know what I'm saying? He was gonna die so many times. He came back. Sam knows what he's doing. I I like how he got a little confidence, even though he fought on his back most of that episode.
Yeah.
I mean, and he still survived. So, and he's like, what is he now of his house? Duke of his house? I forgot whatever, but he's head of his house pretty much. So now, like, honestly, Sam is a MVP, but he's not the MVP. Jorah is the MVP, even though he died. Although that's not how MVP works, right?
Yeah, you gotta win. I think definitely MVP was Arya. I think by far it was Arya.
Okay, you know I'm Team Stark anyway, so it's just like
Tony?
no, not in that universe. Okay, so you know what's crazy? We'll come back to this obviously by the end of the episode, end of the season. Obviously, everything will come back. My whole thing is, at the end of the day, who was your favorite character and why, and were they justified?
Oh, we just spoke about this. For me, at least, my favorite character was Theon.
Theon Greyjoy, really?
Theon's my favorite.
He had the best arc.
By far my favorite. Him, Jamie's up there too. Jamie's up there, and of course Jon.
So I'm just like,
those are my top three.
Jamie Lannister kind of fell flat for me at the end.
Yeah.
But
well, I think his arc. I think it makes perfect sense. What we want, like for instance, like let's say like you have a cousin or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? You want them to do like you want them to do what's best, what you feel is best for them, but they're gonna keep doing what they know. Everybody falls into that pattern of doing something
okay.
that they're familiar with.
yeah,
So he breaks up with his ex. That doesn't necessarily mean that if you say, "Oh, I'm going to send my boys over there to burn her house down," he's going to be like, "No, I'm going to go save her." And that's exactly what it was. He just went to go save her, and then he fell back into the trap.
okay, fair enough.
I like the
So
closing of his arc with his brother though. That was what
was
I
tough.
liked.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. I think.
Well,
Okay, wait, maybe not.
Going back to Endgame real quick.
Okay.
What did you guys think of Stan Lee's last cameo?
Oh yeah, we
it was
didn't pay
amazing.
homage.
Yeah,
to
we
it.
didn't. That was pretty dope. Make love, not war.
Yeah,
Right? That's what he said.
Well, it's what he's been saying for the last
Yeah.
40 years or
Didn't he,
something.
didn't he have
It's
the
true to
nuts
Stan
that
Lee.
bumper sticker?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true to Stan Lee. I was hoping to maybe get him as a watcher for some reason. I was like, ooh, that'd be dope.
We did.
They hinted at
No, at the end game. At the end game, that's what I'm saying. I know they hinted at it from previous movies and whatnot, but I wanted to see him at end game.
But then they officially showed that in Guardians too.
Yes, I
Yeah.
wanted to see it again. I wanted to be like, and so comes, and then so the classic I can't do his voice. I'm working on it. But, like, I wanted him to say something, like, to kind of leave us off. Especially since we didn't get post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
We got, like, the whirring of, like, the machines working on Iron Man.
We got epic end credits.
Right. That's what we got. Listen.
Wait,
This
Mike,
is... Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Yeah, always
working
ignore
on
me. That's fine. That's
No,
fine.
I'm working on it.
no,
No, because you know what? Sometimes I know you're animated, and I'm just like, okay, she's being animated. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, there's a whole thing of there's a Stan Lee statue that is in the works.
Really?
So they're actually getting fans' input on where to put the statue in New York City. Now, what's everybody's take on where the statue should be?
An actual New York City or MCU?
No, an actual New York City statue.
Wait, what'd you say?
Just
What is
well,
it?
I don't.
That's what I was thinking.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think a statue. I think just rename a street in honor of Stan Lee. If they did that with Bill Finger and it was Bill Finger and Bob Kane. Don't they have like commemorative like streets in the Bronx or
I
something?
think so.
Yeah, no. I think...
I know they recently
the
did.
Bronx!
I know.
Boo! No, stop.
I know they recently did
We're
Bill
gonna have to
Finger.
fight over that now. Let's go.
Listen, I'm from Brooklyn. No.
He grew up
but
in
no, I know-
Washington Heights in the Bronx. I feel like if they were to erect a statue, like you could either put it somewhere in the Bronx or Washington Heights.
I feel like it'd do better. I don't get me wrong, not disrespecting where he grew up from or where he came from. I think it would do better in 42nd Street because more people would be able to see it. Not a lot of people go to the Bronx.
Somewhere in Queens.
In 42nd Street?
You'd be surprised how many people go to the damn Bronx Zoo. Have you driven in Bronx Zoo traffic?
Okay, that's the Bronx
no,
Zoo.
no.
But we're not talking about putting the statue by the Bronx Zoo. I'm talking about
Have you been to the Bronx? lately?
42nd Street.
Have you been to the Bronx?
Okay, so what gets more views? 42nd Street or the Bronx Zoo?
42nd
say-
Street is a
Thank you
big
very
mall.
much.
That's all
say-
it
Thank
is
you very
now.
much.
I say since Spider-Man is his baby,
Yeah,
and
so
since
big.
Spider-Man
Queens.
lives in Queens,
Or-
why not in
yeah.
Sunnyside
Yeah,
or
Sunnyside.
Woodside or
Sunnyside,
wherever?
That's another good place too.
I
you
don't,
know?
I'm sorry, man. I mean,
Story apart.
but that
We are not doing. New Yorkers are not doing 42nd Street.
I would.
Yeah, that's true.
That's for
No
sure.
one
Yeah,
does
that-
42nd Street. Unless you.
But stop thinking about New
let's just show-
Yorkers.
let's just
I-
show-
this
Don't
is
matter.
just, he had an effect
You-
on everybody.
Listen,
World.
We are not
Why?
king of all people.
If-
King
if-
of New York.
if what they are doing in the Bronx right now is all the upgrades and everything, because one of the highways is being made into a boulevard now. I don't know why. Damn it, more traffic. You have Yankee Stadium over there because people go for Yankee Stadium. They go for everything. You got more
They
breweries
go
popping
to
up.
one destination.
They
They don't
do
go walk
not.
around. Nobody goes,
Listen,
oh, you know what?
listen,
I'm
Brooklyn.
uptown.
we
Let's
are
find a new
revoking
hookah
your-
lounge. I heard they're really great up here.
We are revoking your passport now.
That's fine. I think the best place would be 42nd. It's a tourist attraction. It is one of the main
So-
staples of New York State, if you ask me. Especially of New York City. It's where everybody comes, near and far. Definitely. We've all been to 42nd Street. Hell, y'all forget until they rose the rent. Toys R Us used to be there before they went bankrupt.
See,
Okay?
and that's what I'm saying. The statue
Hershey's-
can't
Hershey's
even
is there.
afford to be there.
You know what I'm saying? McDonald's.
It's the rent is too much. The statue can't even afford to be there. You
Rent
got a
is
statue
too damn high.
walking off the place.
On that note, this has been your boy Mayhem Mike. You can find me at Pure Mayhem on Instagram. Last stop on L, Q Mayhem Gaming, and of course, this lovely show called Hiro Geeks Unlimited. To you, Fernando.
Oh, yeah, I got nothing.
All right, cool, great.
All right, this is the Destructive Lioness signing off on having the female perspective be brought to your sweet, sweet ears.
We need to work on a logo.
Oh, I'm next.
Yes.
Me, Sebastian Baudet, part of the Nerds of the Round podcast. You can find Nerds of the Round on Instagram, Facebook. We're now on Twitter. The Nerds of TSB. I'm sorry, I gotta get the Twitter handle better. But we are on Twitter. But you can also find me on Instagram, Sebastian Bonet.
Why did you call it the Nerds of the Bonnet?
Oh, it's not Nerds of the Bonnet.
Burn it.
You,
Bonnet
I'm gonna
nerds.
burn you, bro. You can also find us on Spotify. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Anchor. You can find us on YouTube. And as I am bringing up the Nerds of the Round podcast Twitter, it is the Nerds OTR on Twitter, ran by co-host Tony from across the hall.
Shout out to Tony.
And shout out to Imbion, Imbion.com, Imbion Mag, and also to ImbionCon is coming August 24th at Hofstra University. Use code Get Nerdy with it for 10% off
Get
tickets.
nerdy with it.
Oh yeah. And if you're a vendor, an artist looking to be at this creative convention, you can also use that code to get 10% off the table.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
I draw stick figures really well.
This is Donnie Dorco Manhattan signing off. Until next time for more Geek Talk.
What? All right, I like that one.
This is Brooklyn Boy T. You can find me on IG, Brooklyn Boy T. I had a great time, man.
This was dope. We
This is
didn't
dope.
really say Martha too much. Martha!
I knew it was coming.
Until
I
next
knew it was
time,
coming.
folks.
Peace.
Peace.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode of Hiro Geeks, the show for all things geek. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below so we can have more discussions for you. Don't forget to visit our channel, Geeks Unlimited, and even our sibling channel, The Nerds of the Round, on YouTube. Links are in the description below, and until next time, guys, stay geeky.